Yo, what's cracking, y'all? What's good, everybody? I'm GG, man. You tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, with no chasers. Word. Before I get things started, shout out to all the haters, man. I hope you passing a good afternoon. As you come in, man, please hit the like button, subscribe button, and the bell notification button so you can stay on top of what's going on here on the Green Gorilla channel. And like I always do, I want to give a shout out to all of the members of the Green Gorilla channel before I get situated. So I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible. Ben Cannon, Kenton, Sheridan Woe, Leon 08, Black Men Being Brutally Honest, Artisan MC, Dub Will, Mr. Good Dad, Dar, Third Coast X and Lamar Johnson, Raiz Moaji, Lee Ways, Roderick Jackson, Michael Ross, 63rd Samurai, Devon Loveridge, Ishmael Samad, The Watcher, Barnolas, Hostile Adept and Rare Pill Revelator, Kill the Game, Dr. Thunder, BGS Ipmore, Jason Hales, Charles Finney, Interesting Thought, Bimrock, Blacksword 404, Until I'm Not, Naomi Gary, and J. Cleveland Green. Big up to the Toxic Masculinist, Pulpit 28, Broken Blade, Larry R, Seth Son, Afro Troop TV, Show Me, Spain Man, Seventh Coast Dojo, Anthony Davis, and I'm Just Jules. Big up to An Honest Look, Ricky Dawson, Stefan, True 7360, Mr. Me Too, Call for President, Gold Professor, AKs and Curtains, H-Town, Roguish the Billmonger, and Adrian Thomas. Big up. Big up to Electrician 480, Binga, Cutting Up with the Jones, Zanco 1, D. Scott, Path God 74, Pete Rock 496, Aaron Peters, Vincent Lindsay, Quiz the Poet, and Black Wizard ADOS. Big up. Big up to Jazz Tech, Shadow Observer, Troy Warren, Mrs. KP Bailey, Alan Wiley, The Face, Life of Commerce, AI Apostle, Timothy Blewett, Jeffrey Speed, and Marvin Battle Jr. Big up. Big up to Adam, Ignatz Mouse, Black Uru Strikes, Dr. Tree 33, 77 Base X, Brian McMurray, K. Reness, Charles Rogers, Rick Ross, Sandra Jean, and Charles Gilmore. Big up. Big up to Greg, Barry Little, Mr. Valentino, Cameron 87, Dr. Rock, Mark Swift, Odd Collar, Donald Watts, Coach Hotep, Old Soul Chief, Mr. Blue Collar, and TD Hip Hop Media. Big up to Drew Main, Mr. Heat, Sir Anthony, MLR, Universal 178, Rasheed Barnes, Aaron Smith, DHA Double, Kalon Jakala, and WPR1. And also Kevin Samuels, David Carroll, and Forrest Windu. Big up, man, to all y'all. Also, I want to shout out to all the patrons on the Patreon side. So Robert Wicks, Shine Language, Chris Flowers, Christopher Burton, Daxby, Day Live, Rashawn Phillips Searles, Keith Bass, Nick, Albert C., Dr. Ben Vincent, I'm the Light of My Father, Waffle Weave, Darnell Smith, Excalibur, Preserve Prisoner, Taz, Dragon 59, Jay Bailey, Mr. Michi Momal, and Asangwa. Big up to all of those. Y'all deserve a round of applause. Thank you so much for supporting me. And also, consider a membership if you like the content here. Here's how you do it, and I'll be back. Okay, man, we're back. Shout out to all the people out there in the chat, all 38 of you, 39 of you. I guess, the count will go up as the show progresses, or maybe not. Who knows? But shout out to this rich bastard who left a comment early on. What is the purpose of saving the community? We all have to die. That's a pretty morose way to look at things. Shout out to Kafre Amosa. He says, love your content, GG. Shout out to him. Appreciate that. What's up, Barry Little, man? What's cracking with you, man? Shout out to you. Shout out to Chukwu Igwe. You know, we go back and forth, but, you know, I rock with you. And shout out to Hasim Abdul Jalil, Kim Kwali, I am Lord Voldemort, and so on and so forth, man. You know, so anyway, man, look, man. I just wanted to have a conversation about this. I'll leave a comment in the chat at some point. Not a comment, but the link. I'll put it in there now so I don't forget later on. But I just want to get a sense or an understanding. What's up, Hun89? I just want to get an understanding myself. I want to kind of check the temperature of the chat and to gain some clarity or understanding. I think I have the answer to this question in terms of who will save the black community. I don't think anybody will. I think that there are proposals on how to save it, but until we get an understanding of what community is or what a community is to begin with, any attempt to do so will just be fruitless. It'll be a fool's errand. So what's good, Excalibur? What's good, Ab Media? And what's good, Leon? What's good, Rashad? So I just want to gauge your temperature. So leave a 1 in the chat if you think the black community is cooked. Meaning it's dead. Like it's over with. No salvaging, no saving, no hope. No reason to try to bargain. No need to think about rectifying the issues that Jesus, man, it's all there really quickly. Okay. I also want to get some sort of insight into people who might be hanging on the fence, who think that there might be a way to actually resolve some of the issues that in here in the black community, so that maybe this ship could be righted, turned around straight, and things can be made whole again. There's nobody out there. So I just want to, see some of the comments. So Charles Chandler says, one, no salvaging, no hope. Good God. All right. The fool's errand, he says. What's up, BGS Hitmore? Thank you for stopping early, man, for me, man. I appreciate that, bro. But you didn't have to do it. So shout out to you, man. Jason Hill says in his current form, no, it ain't happening. He says, Leon A says, my wife is hyper mixed. I left. Jason Hills also says, who will say the black community, the youth are our only hope. Okay. So what up, Charles, man? What's up with you? Woo! Donnie Mack says, anything that would fix the community would also make it easier for integration and assimilation. Excalibur says, the BC black community has to be rebuilt by competent black men with non-American women. That's pretty damning right there. There are many ideas about this, right? But then my question to you guys, and I'm gonna invite you just to get some preliminary understanding. How do you define a community? How do you perceive a community? What is a community? How do you define it? How do you perceive it? Do you come from it? Even if it's a community that's not fully functional, even if it's not already whole, one could argue you emanate from it, right? You come out of it. It's something that you're born into, whether you like it or not, okay? So, anyway, like, what is your opinion about this? And And shout out to Life of Commerce, man. Big up to him, man. Straight up. Thank you so much for the donation. That's very kind of you, sir. You know, ever since the controversy surrounding what's the name of that shit that motherfuckers is talking about nowadays, man? SBE. Motherfuckers is like tight as a motherfucker in the manosphere. They're like, we're not donating to nobody. Nobody. But anyway, let me shout out to Life of Commerce. That's the bond for you, bro. I'll give you another bond. Shout out to Life of Commerce, bro. Anyway, Hun says, some might see a potentially golden opportunity to unfuck up things that have been allowed to fester for years. The problem is that it will require a new mindset and a will to do right now. It's in ICU. It's in intensive care. It's on the deathbed. Okay. Walimu Ra X, he says, I think the world will be blacked, also known as the tangle of pathology. Be About Peace and Pleasure says the Mexicans have a community, Jews, the Garifuna, and the Honduras. Now, look, to be quite honest, you have a community also. It's just not fully functional the way that you would like for it to be. Okay? Now, it exists. It's there, okay? And also, yeah, like BGS says, man, like the video, man. Fuck. Give me some likes, man. I don't know. I don't have YouTube open at all. But yeah. So this is all preliminary, man. I'm not gonna continue to go back and forth with all of this. What's up, Eon, man? I ain't seen you in a month of Sundays, man. Somebody told me, man, you thought I got rid of your ass or something, man, like I had you blocked. Bro, I swear to God, man, I did not block you from the channel, bro. I swear to God, bro. Straight up. I will not lie. I can't explain how it happened, but, you know, I can tell you this. I did not. So, look, Kafre almost says we lack functioning social institutions, and that I agree with. I definitely agree with that. Okay? I agree. BGS says it's tuition time. Thank you, BGS, man. Appreciate that. Okay. Now, let me just say this, right? So, I looked this shit up on ChatGPT. You know, I like to fuck around with technology. That's something I like to do. So, I went to ChatGPT and I drew up something, okay? Shout out to Jason Hales, man. Appreciate you, Jason. Appreciate you. But while I, switch over and go to my display capture, I'm not going to be able to drop bombs and do all that. But so I want to show you what the response was when I asked a series of questions to chat GPT about what a community is, and you'll see the flow of the conversation. And then I have a video, okay, of a YouTuber and a blogger who's a feminist, and some of the comments that they've made about the community. And after having looked at that, I'll ask you, but at any time, if anybody wants to pop up, they can, okay? At any moment, you can pop up, okay? But shout out to Jason Hill, shout out to Barry Little, and shout out to Be About Peace and Pleasure, okay? But I'm about to show you this shit, right? and trust me, I guarantee you, man, ChatGPT has been programmed with a set of moral scripts. It's already been set up in such a way as to favor certain kinds of answers related to justice issues or issues related to ethics, morality, and so on and so forth. So you have to tease things out of ChatGPT, okay? But having said all that, and thank you all for your generosity, I will shout y'all out in a minute. But let me get to this, okay? So let me display this really quickly. And I'm hoping you can see that and it's large enough. If it's not large enough, I'll make it, well, actually, let me make it a little bit bigger, okay? So this is ChatGPT, and I already put this in, okay? And this is a link to a series of questions that I asked of ChatGPT last week, okay? And I asked the AI engine a question. I said, is it true that a community is nothing more than a collection of families that consider their collective good to be an essential aim? Like, in essence, what is a community? Nothing more, one could argue, than an assortment of families that share a common understanding about what's good for themselves. Okay? That's what I asked the question, to Chat GPT and to see what kind of answer I would get. Now, peep this out. Listen to the answer, bro. This is the answer that the AI engine gave me. It says, a community is a complex and multifaceted concept. And while it certainly can involve collections of families considering their collective good, it can also be much broader or different than that. Okay, so in other words, ChatGPT is saying that a community is not just a collection of families that consider their collective good and to be an essential aim. There's various other ways of looking at a community. It says, firstly, a community does not have to be made up of families. It can also consist of individuals, institutions, or organizations. For example, there are online communities. One could argue that the manosphere is an online community. Now, just follow me with this line, and I'm arguing with ChatGPT. Okay, now, check it out though. So there are online communities made up of people who share the same interests, but do not live in the same geographical area or even know each other personally. It then goes on to say there are professional communities composed of individuals working in the same industry or profession. There are also communities of practice, wherein individuals with a common endeavor or craft share ideas or learn from one another. Okay, like a guild or something like that, or a union. All right. So there are professional communities. There are communities of practice, and also there are online communities, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with or reduce to a geographical location or have anything to do with families. Okay. Then he goes on to say, furthermore, while the collective good is often a significant aim of communities, it's not always the case. Some communities might be formed around shared interests or goals, but the overall collective good might not be a focus. For example, you might have a community of collectors who may be more focused on individual collection goals rather than a shared common good. So it could be a community where there are people who are into Bitcoin or something like this, and the collective good is not actually the goal of the so-called Bitcoin community, but individuals seeking to prosper within the domain of cryptocurrency could be the aim, or whatever the case may be. So this is the first query that comes out of me asking about the community, okay? And then finally, the ChatGPT says there are various aspects that shape a community, such as shared beliefs, values, customs, behaviors, and identities, common economic, political, or social interests, geographic location, and many others. That being said, your statement can be a valid description of certain types of communities, particularly those made up of families focused on their collective welfare. It's not just a comprehensive definition that covers all possible types and forms of community. So look, I think the answer to some degree is accurate to a certain extent. But what do black men mean when they mean the black community is dead? Like, that's what I'm trying to get at. What do we mean when we say this? What is a community? How do we define it? Now, of course, the black community is going to be something that we're discussing in the context of Not just maybe a geographical location, because we consider the black community to extend beyond and past our neighborhoods. But one could argue, though, I mean, for practical purposes, you can't really actually be a substantive member of a community and not even know the people who are in that community. I mean, that's just my opinion about it. But, but maybe I'm inaccurate about this. But anyway, so I say to Chat GPT, to the AI engine, I said, much of what you say are communities I find to be nothing more than associations, like a trade association or, a professional association. That's typically what they're called. Like, professional associations are not typically called professional communities. Okay? They're not. But at any rate, and I say that they're similar, but they're different in their aims and values. So, like, the extension, in opening up the possibility for all these different forms of community. So I challenged the engine. And then the engine says, well, you're right. There is a distinction between communities and associations. And different people, cultures, and academic disciplines may define these terms differently. But generally speaking, communities often imply a deeper level of interaction, shared identity, or emotional connection than associations. So that's what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to get at that there's something deeper than a professional organization when you talk about a community. There's something deeper than, a collection of individuals looking out for their own individual interests. Something deeper there is what I was trying to get at. Okay? And the engine acknowledges it to a certain extent. Communities typically involve a sense of belonging. You belong to a community, right? There are emotional ties in the community. There are shared values in a community. Now check this one out. This is a big one here. In a community, there is mutual support. Mutual support. Or should be. Okay? There should be. There should be mutual support. Okay? And often continuity over time. Members of a community may feel a sense of obligation or loyalty to the community. Communities can be centered around a place, like a neighborhood, a shared interest or goal, or shared identity, like an ethnic or cultural community. Now, I guarantee you that most of the members of the black community are men, even men who are pissed off at the black community, do to some degree consider themselves to have a shared identity, at least a historical identity, to a certain degree. Now, you might not have the same interests or goals, but most of us, quite frankly, we are still in the same geographical locations. We still share the same spaces, even though we don't have the same interest, maybe even not the same emotional ties, maybe not even shared values or mutual support. Anyway, then it goes on to talk about associations, on the other hand, are typically thought of as more formal, organized groups that people join to achieve a specific purpose, like a professional association or a hobby club. Okay? And maybe more transactional and less emotionally involved than in a community. Associations often have official membership, leadership structures, and rules. But, and this is accurate here, this is true, the lines can blur. An association can foster a sense of community among its members, and communities can be organized and have leadership structures like associations. The key is the shared understanding and aims of the group members. How you choose to identify a community or an association can be influenced by your own cultural, philosophical, or personal perspective. But to your original point, Viewing a community as a collection of families that consider their collective good to be an essential aim can be a deeply meaningful and traditional interpretation, particularly in cultures where family and community ties are closely intertwined. But it's just one perspective among many, reflecting the rich diversity and complexity of human social structures. So it's giving me all of this shit, right? So I say this. And I'm trying to get to the point with Chat GPT. I'm just showing you like my line of inquiry with this search engine. And I can't see what you're saying right now because my face is purely on this. Anyway, moving on further in my line of reasoning. This is me. If a demographic or a population is considered to be a non-essential part of a community, then what reason would that demographic have to support it? In other words, if you are made to feel as if you don't belong, there are attenuated emotional ties, that there is a lack of shared values and non-mutual support, then apart from considerations of justice, what reason do you have to be committed to the community in question? So that's me. I'm fucking with the Chat GPT at this point. I'm like, well, okay, like if there's no support, you're not made to feel as if you belong. People are beginning to, have like weakened emotional ties, or at least the emotions that exist are pathological instead of healthy, right? The values are not really shared in common. Then apart from justice, why would you be committed to the community? Why? And so look, this is this is what ChatGPT says. Feeling excluded or marginalized within a community can indeed lead to a lack of commitment or even active resistance to that community's goals or values. If you feel excluded or marginalized within a community, it can lead to a lack of community or even active resistance to the community's goals or values. No, well, let me just say this. I am looking at my head. Matt Wee Sports says, GG, you're trying to force a particular context of the term to a computer speaking about the dictionary definition, brother. What's so profound? Well, it is profound because first of all, ChatGPT admitted that when you're talking about a community, especially how we're regarding the community, I think more than anything else, we're regarding a community as a group of people loosely connected historically and maybe even geographically and even, like related to race. Okay. We're part of the same group of people who went through slavery, Jim Crow, the civil rights movement. We live in the same neighborhoods. We've undergone the same kind of cultural experiences to a certain degree. Right. And then one would argue, there are various people in different, racial or ethnic groups who have a sense of commitment and belongingness to their communities. Like, for example, the Jews or, Puerto Ricans or, I don't know, like the Irish or like, for example, the Italians in St. Louis who live on the hill. There's a sense of community amongst them. Okay? So I'm trying to get to the reason for which one could potentially, reject the community. Right? Why would a person reject the community from which they come? Why would that happen? So anyway, feeling excluded or marginalized within a community can lead to a lack of commitment to it or even active resistance to the community's goals or values. This is a core concept in social psychology and sociology, where researchers have found that social inclusion and acceptance are vital to individuals' psychological health and societal cohesion. Okay? So, this is all, like, in philosophical terms, this would be called recognition. Like, people being acknowledged or recognized is like a fundamental part of what it means to be a human being, and, like what it means to be a healthy human being means to be embraced and somehow perceived as a vital and a fundamental part of a community. Okay? And your psychological health and well-being is connected to it. But when someone feels like a non-essential part of a community, right? So I asked the question, like, what reason would you have to be committed to a community when it rejects you? And here are the reasons that ChatGPT gives me for why you would stick around, even though the community is basically turning its back on you or not perceiving you as being essential. Okay? So the pragmatic reasons are, even if you feel marginalized, you might remain in a community due to practical needs like economic security or housing or employment that you cannot find elsewhere. So you might stay because you can't do better anywhere else. Or like, like I've heard the term thrown around, hobosexuals. Like, you don't have the wherewithal to leave. Right? You need to have a place to live. Okay? Or, you might not be able to find gainful employment anywhere else. I don't think that condition would apply, though, because there's not a lot of work in the black community itself. Okay? That's just what I've seen. But anyway, might be wrong about that, but most people I know who are black leave the community and they go work where white people are. But that's my experience, but might be different. Okay? Anyway, and this is where, like I see a lot of guys from the black nationalist movement and, a lot of blue pill guys are like, well, there's potential for change. Things could turn around here. Some people choose to remain within a community with the hope of driving change from within it. They may seek to challenge the status quo, advocate for their rights, or work to ensure that future members of their demographic are better included. So there are some people who are like, well, we can get it going the way it should go again. We can get this going the way it should be. Okay? Then, cultural or historical ties, which I alluded to earlier. Some individuals may feel a connection to a community because of their culture, their history, or family ties, even if they feel marginalized within it. These ties can often be complex and emotionally powerful. Like, what else do you know? What do you know? What do you know? Shout out to Mr. Heat, man. I'm gonna give everybody a shout out when I get out of this display thing that I'm doing, this capture thing that I'm doing now. I'm capturing my screen. Lack of alternatives. Okay? Sometimes people may feel they have nowhere else to go. This could be due to a lack of resources, a lack of welcoming communities elsewhere, fear of the unknown, or other obstacles to leaving the current community. Now, look, recently there's been this trend going on, like passport bros. Okay? Where, like, men are like, okay, well, there are alternatives. I can go to Brazil. I can go to Thailand. I can go to Africa. I don't have to, make my communal life consist or adhere only in, like having relationships and developing, romantic or familial relationships with people here. Maybe I can do so elsewhere and still get the satisfaction that I'm desiring. While, here I'm probably going to be manipulated, exploited. Somebody gets tired of me. They can dispatch and dispose of me, make allegations about me, disrupt my life in ways that are unalterable, okay? And why would I want to, do that? And then also, I'm going to be perceived as non-essential. So anyway, there are people who are developing alternatives, but some people feel like, well, I don't have these alternatives. Everybody's not a passport, bro. Okay? Social connections. An individual might maintain certain beneficial relationships within the community, such as friendships, familial ties, that make them reluctant to leave, despite the fact that they are marginalized. And then the last, reason given is resilience. Some individuals may find ways to adapt and find personal fulfillment despite feeling like a non-essential part of the community. Like you accept it, you come to terms with it like a stoic, and you deal with it, okay? And you find meaning in the context of the dysfunction or, the so-called tangle of pathology, okay? Anyway, ultimately, this is a deeply personal decision. This is the chat now. This is the AI saying it's a personal decision that varies from individual to individual based on their experiences, values, and circumstances. But it's important to note that being made to feel non-essential in a community can have serious psychological and social consequences. Oh, man. And this is why I use this shit. I'm like, look. I wanted to get what like an AI engine would say, like to a group of people who feel like they have been pushed to the periphery. They've been made to be marginalized within their own community. Now, I'm not done yet because I got some steps to this shit here. I got steps and steps and steps. But anyway, efforts towards inclusivity, mutual respect, and equity are crucial in fostering healthy and supportive communities. And so then I asked the question again. I said, well, on the flip side, so these are reasons to stay. Pragmatic reasons, potential for change, history and cultural ties, not having any alternatives, social connections that you have there already, and just kind of like being resilient and stoic about, the situation, even though you're, non-essential, you still find meaning in the context of that environment or that community or whatever the case may be. So I said, well, on the flip side, what are the reasons to reject or to divide from such a community? And then this is what ChatGPT says now. This is some wild shit, bro. The preservation of identity and dignity. Oh, man. The preservation of identity and dignity, bro. Individuals may feel that remaining in a community that does not value or respect them is harmful to their self-esteem, their mental health, or identity. They may choose to separate from the community to protect and to preserve their self-worth and their dignity. Oh, man, this shit is hilarious to me, bro. I swear to God, bro. Look at what it says, number 2. Creating safe spaces. Sometimes marginalized individuals or groups might separate from their own communities, and might separate to form their own communities where they feel safe, supported, and understood. Sound like the fucking manosphere, you dumb motherfuckers. And they wonder, like, why does a place like this exist? Like, how could it possibly be? I can't for the life of me think about why some guys might come together and develop some of the community of their own where they can talk about all of their problems. If they got all that privilege they got, why should they complain about nothing in the world they should complain about? But it's crazy though. It's a safe space where like they can talk, and this goes to this SBE bullshit, bruh, that a lot of Negroes in the space are now beginning to talk about. Like, so there's no space that a man can go to where he can talk about any of his issues, his problems, whether they be financial, legal, ethical, emotional. We supposed to just bottle all this shit up and go out and make bread and money, right? But everybody wants to have a space where they can go to talk about their issues and their problems. Everybody does this. What do you think of like a church or a spiritual community is? What do you think that's about? Every culture has this. Anyway, this can often be seen in marginalized populations creating their own social groups, neighborhoods, or even online communities. Go fucking figure. But they'll attack this space because they don't like the things that are being said within it. Oh, we don't like what you're saying there. And it be black women also, man, that'll hear some shit like this, and the first thing them motherfuckers will go do, oh, you said something about us we didn't like. I'm gonna go tell my massa. I'm gonna tell massa. Ooh, I can't wait to tell my massa. Oh, Miss Ann, I can't wait to tell Miss Ann. Get that nigga, get that nigga. So damn, so you can have communities where you can talk about all the shit that you got on your fucking chest or on your head or on your brain or that's going or ruminating and coursing through your feelings. But as soon as we say what the fuck we think or feel, it's got to be put in such a way that, you know, it don't fuck up your sensibilities. Otherwise, you're going to start fainting. Then you're going to, I want a lynching. I need somebody to fucking satisfy me. Come on, man. Anyway, physical or emotional safety. If an individual or a group faces physical harm, discrimination, or emotional abuse within a community, they may leave to protect their well-being or their safety. Finding acceptance. Individuals may hope to find another community where they feel more accepted and valued. This can be a very powerful motivator for leaving a community, especially if the individual believes that they have a good chance of finding such a community. Look, psychological relief. Living in a state of constant marginalization can be stressful and emotionally draining. Leaving such a community can bring a sense of relief and freedom, even if the path ahead is uncertain. Again, each individual's decision to stay or leave in a community will depend on their personal experiences, their resources, and circumstances. It's also important to note that leaving a community can have its own challenges, such as a loss of social connections. Like, for example, like going to another country, you lose your social connections. You don't know what things are like there. So it's a precarious situation. You're not certain, right? Economic instability or other difficulties. So then I say, well, to contextualize the argument, many black men feel marginalized within the black community. They feel like they are non-essential members of family life and ipso facto community life. They feel as if there are attenuated emotional ties, a lack of shared values, and non-mutual support. Thus, they feel like abandoning black women who feel that they can do better by themselves with the aid of government assistance and corporate-backed patronage in lieu of policies and programs developed by the government to aid all women, like Title IX and diversity and inclusion policies that target women. So I'm giving it information to work with, right? I just want to see what the response will be. It says, because now they introduce black women to the equation, so now it wants to be fucking like intersectional and shit, right? So then it says, look, the specific issues you're raising are complex and multifaceted, but you're right in pointing out the feelings of marginalization can occur within any community, including racial or ethnic communities. Such feelings can be exacerbated by a number of socioeconomic factors, historical context, cultural shifts, and systemic biases. Some black men may feel marginalized or excluded from family or community life due to the factors you mentioned. Social and economic policies can sometimes have unintended consequences that exacerbate these feelings of marginalization. For example, while governmental assistance programs, corporate diversity and inclusion policies, and laws like Title IX are designed to help marginalized groups, are they really? They can sometimes lead to feelings of neglect or exclusion among those who who don't directly benefit from those programs. Additionally, societal norms and expectations about gender roles, masculinity, and familial responsibility can further complicate these feelings. For example, if societal expectations dictate that men should be the primary providers or leaders in their families, and they are unable to fulfill this role due to economic or systemic obstacles, they may feel marginalized or excluded. Addressing these feelings of marginalization involves acknowledging and tackling systemic racism, creating inclusive policies that consider the specific needs and experiences of all members of the community. Challenging harmful gender norms and expectations. And creating safe spaces for conversation and understanding within the community. Now, I had a series of bombs on that shit, but here's the thing, right? You can't even fucking have the conversations at all. You can't develop programs that look after the needs of all the members of the community, because then you'll get motherfuckers saying shit like you're taking shit away from black girls and women. I've seen the shit be said by professional academicians. I fucking heard it with my own 2 fucking ears. Literally heard it come out of a black feminist philosopher's mouth at a conference. Can't have anything for boys because that's going to take away from the girls. So you can't even have discussions about the shit without having to face some sort of challenge that you're violating some fucking governmental policy or something. Anyway, it's important to remember that the experiences and feelings of black men are not monolithic, meaning they're not all exactly the same. Some may feel marginalized for the reasons I've outlined, but others may have different experiences. Others may feel like, hey, this is the place for me. I love it. Everything is going right within it. Understanding these nuances is crucial for addressing these complex issues effectively. Finally, dialogue is key. But the problem is there's no fucking dialogue happening with the key players. And I'm not talking about dialogue with miscellaneous ragtag women and men. No disrespect, but like lay people having miscellaneous conversations about this shit is not where the conversation is really going to have any weight or carry any, like, it's not going to carry any motherfucking weight for real. You got to have academicians and policymakers, lawyers and shit, and politicians talking about this openly and candidly, but they don't want the shit to occur. They don't want to talk. Shop closed. Soon as you start talking, shop closed. Soon as you say something, shop closed. Then they'll tell you shit like, we're watching you, we're looking at you. So I say this. If black men, and this is me asking a question, if black men are increasingly left out of family life due to the rising phenomenon of single black motherhood and family composition, and ipso facto, which means, as a result of that naturally flows out from one thing to another, right? Loosely saying, that's what ipso facto means. So if you're left out of family life because of the phenomenon, the rising phenomenon of single black motherhood and family composition and alternative forms of family composition, like queer families and things of this nature, and you're left out of community life because they are only tangentially involved in family life, and one can argue in order to have a strong community of the kind we're talking about related to historical ties and all of this and geographical locations and racial and ethnic backgrounds, then you're going to have small units and agglomerations and networks and, larger connections that come from the small, units. But if the men aren't there in the small units, how the fuck are they going to be there in the larger units? Because black men are tangentially involved in family life. So I'm asking the question. If they are tangentially involved in family life, increasingly, they don't have the ability to direct the actions of either family life or community activities. And I think this is a sound argument. If this is the case, then philosophically, it is unreasonable for anyone to expect black men to contribute towards the enhancement of the black community, as they are not substantively able to engage in collective decision making within it. You don't have the ability to make any decisions in it. You can't direct the activities of it. Furthermore, the standards of fairness or justice in decision making do not obtain for black men in such circumstances. And then here's what ChatGPT says. Your argument raises several critical issues about social dynamics, the role of individuals within families and communities, and the consequences of exclusion. It's worth examining several of these points in detail, and this is coming to the end of it, okay? The link between family and community. Families are indeed a fundamental building block of communities, and exclusion from family life can lead to feelings of marginalization within the larger community. But then it goes on to say, like I said earlier, but it's important to note that involvement in community life is not limited to family structures. Individuals can contribute to and participate in community activities through other avenues, such as social groups, organizations, institutions, or political activism. Okay? So that's one alternative, right? Number two, the impact of exclusion on decision making. If black men are excluded from family or community decision making processes, this can indeed have serious consequences for their ability to shape their own lives and the communities they live in. As you suggest, this lack of influence can lead to a sense of alienation and reduced motivation to contribute to community enhancement. The role of justice. From a philosophical standpoint, it is indeed challenging to expect individuals to support a community in which they are not granted fair participation in decision-making process. The principles of fairness and justice suggest that all members of a community should have the opportunity to influence decisions that affect them. Your argument is a reminder that it's crucial to strive for inclusive decision-making processes in families and communities to avoid reinforcing systemic injustices and to ensure that all members of a community feel valued and heard. It's important to recognize and address the feelings of marginalization that many black men experiences. But here it goes with the bullshit though. However, it's also worth noting that individuals can and do work to improve their communities even when they're being marginalized, often driven by a desire for social change. They may hope to create better opportunities for future generations, to challenge unjust structures, or to forge a community that is more inclusive and representative of their experiences and aspirations. Their work often involves advocating for systemic changes that will increase their influence and participation in community decision making. I say, well then, what is the incentive for the marginalized to improve the circumstances of a community that has pushed them to the periphery, especially when they can develop their own community elsewhere? If the community has no fidelity to them, then why would they have fidelity to the community? And this is the last thing it says. Well, you're highlighting an important dynamic. The relationship between individuals and their communities is reciprocal. When individuals feel excluded or marginalized, they may indeed question why they should invest time and effort into improving a community that does not appear to value their participation. This can motivate some to seek out or establish new communities where they feel more accepted and valued. But then again, they keep going with several reasons why marginalized individuals might still choose to work towards improving their communities. A desire for change, personal or familial ties, lack of alternatives, blah, blah, blah. Yet, and this is the thing at the end, you're absolutely right. It's reasonable and sometimes necessary for marginalized individuals to leave a community that continues to exclude them and find or form a new one. Both choices require courage and have their own set of challenges. The best course of action would likely vary greatly depending on the individual, which is true, the money or the resources they have, the kind of ties they have to their community, and their personal beliefs and their values. So that's my conversation. Now, of course, me reading it, it took a long time, but me actually engaging in the ongoing like dialogue with the AI engine, it took 10 minutes, but it took longer for me to read it because, of course, it just takes longer to read something read something aloud than it does to read it internally, or silently. That's just how shit goes. But so you're not crazy. So guys saying to themselves or saying to other men, fuck the community. It's not an irrational sentiment. It's not an irrational viewpoint to have if that community is marginalizing you and saying that we have no value in having you here. We see no value. And because you're some dusties and some crusties and you don't own the bus, you drive the bus. You're a naker, didn't do nothing, and you're a wannabe white man, And I want it my way. So I said I had a video. Now I'm going to invite some people up. If you want to come, you can watch the video with me. If you don't have to. But I got a video of one woman. You've seen this woman before. She's not, somebody you're not seen before. She's someone you have. And this is what she has to say about a person that she potentially could start a family with. And then the question is, why would you start a family with somebody who thinks like this? Just look at it. You can't hear that? You couldn't hear that? It's too low? Let me try to see if I can adjust the sound. Hold on, let me see. Let me see if I can adjust this. Could you hear that? I tried to run it again. Now, if I ran it again, if I got to turn it up again, I'm going to turn it up again. Eon, what's cracking?
What's good? What's good?
What's happening, man? I ain't, he says it's still too low. This shit has to be heard. So I gotta, hold on. Let me, I'm gonna crank that shit up. Hold on. Let me crank this motherfucker up, son. Let me crank it up. We crank this shit up, man. Hold on. What's up with you though, bro? Like, man, hey, bro. Like, I swear to God, man. I was like wondering, like, what the fuck is Eon, man? Like, he fuck with Tia San, but he don't fuck with me no more. Like, what's up with this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? But I was, I'm like, he a grown ass man, so I can't make him do shit or nothing like that. But let me try to play this one more time and see if it can be heard. Okay? This is the last time me playing it. Okay? I'm not gonna keep doing this shit, but let me try to play it one more time. All right. It doesn't matter what my relationship status is. It doesn't matter who I'm laid up with. I know that no one is going to invest more in keeping me alive than other black women, even if I'm madly in love, head over heels, smitten. Baby talking on the phone. I know, as I walk through the world, no one is going to care more, do more, show up more consistently for me than other black women. That's what I know for sure. In other words, she don't care who she fucking. She don't care if she married. She don't care who the fuck it is. Her sisters is hoes up, G's down. No, I'm not, I know it sounds crass for me to say that, but that's what it sounds like to me. Now, if it's the case that you're hooking up with a woman who has the idea that it's everybody else before you, because like she knows that like at the end of the day, the people who are going to show up for her are going to be other black women, not her husband. This, to me, it just sounds weird and strange. I've never heard like people talk like this. I don't understand it. I don't fucking get it. Like, no disrespect, man. I love my niggas, right? But if I'm married, Why would I look out like I'm gonna make sure that he taken care of before my wife is, man? Come on, man. That shit don't even make sense to me. But that's just my viewpoint. But at the self same time, this woman here will demand that people contribute and participate in a community because that's their obligation. They have to look out for each other. But you won't even look out for the nigga you fucking. She basically said it. The motherfucker I'm laid up with, I'm gonna fuck with them before I'm gonna fuck with my man. I'm gonna hold them down, and they gonna show up and hold me down more than my fucking boyfriend or my husband. Now I want you to think about this. If it's the case that families are the basic building blocks of a community, if you can't get the shit straight in the small unit, how can you extend reciprocity, mutuality, and cooperation outside of the context of your small unit? Where are you going to practice and learn? Because one can argue, you don't just start giving shit to other people and thinking and feeling for other people outside of the context of being able to do so in the context of your own family to begin with. Where's this magical togetherness that motherfuckers come up with? How do you, where does this come from? It doesn't just fall out of trees, man. You don't just start loving people outside of the context of yourself or having a shared sense of responsibility naturally. It has to be fostered and developed over time. I don't understand it. But listen to what she says about fucking community. Listen to what she says about it, bro. And I want to know what your opinion is. Because I'm just being honest about this. I don't understand it. Now tell me if you can hear it before I start.
It's low again.
Okay, let me make sure. Let me turn it up. So let me pause it. I'm going to turn this shit. I'm going to crank this shit up. I wonder why it's so low. I guess that's the way she recorded her shit. Put this shit on 15. How about that? Put this shit on blast. Okay, let's see if it's loud enough now. Is it loud now?
Not really.
You can't hear it? You can't hear that?
It's still the same. It's still the same volume.
It's the exact same volume, man. I done cranked.
It's the exact same. It hasn't moved at all.
But I swear to God, man, I cranked this shit. This shit loud as I can get it. Still the same volume?
Yeah, it's the same.
All right, so look, let me do this, man. For some reason, man, it's let me see. Settings, audio. I think I know what the issue is, bro. I think I know exactly what the fuck is going on here, man.
Right after these messages.
But you don't want to be a helper. You want to live in a kind and
There it is.
generous world, but you don't want to be kind and generous.
Don't stop it. The right volume.
Can you hear me now, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
we hear you now. We hear you
You
now.
can hear me now, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
I apologize for the technical issues, bro. I swear to God, man. You can hear me now, though. Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, cool.
The
Cause
video sound was good.
I was trying to talk to you, everything. I'm like, God damn, this motherfucker's ignoring me again. Okay, so anyway, let me start this shit over again. All right. So anyway, man, I know like for some reason, man, the computer on StreamYard switched over from like I have a whole bunch of sources, audio sources going to one thing, and it's being mixed and sent to one output, and it went to the microphone as default. So all the music and shit I've been playing, you couldn't hear none of it. Some bullshit. But anyway, here's what this woman says initially, okay? And this is what she says about men.
It doesn't matter what my relationship status is. It doesn't matter who I'm laid up with that night. I know that no one is going to invest more in keeping me alive than other Black women, even if I'm madly in love, head over heels, smitten, baby talking on the phone. I know as I walk through the world, no one is going to care more, do more, show up more consistently for me than other Black women. That's what I know for sure.
Okay, so you heard that, right?
I got an opinion about that. Yeah, I heard that.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I had a whole bunch of technical fuck ups. Okay, it's my bad. But my again, what I said initially rings true. So you mean to tell me that you're gonna have some fidelity to Black women, like quad Black women, even Black women you don't fucking know? They're gonna show up to you more than your fucking husband will or the nigga you love?
Let me say this. You know what? Dealing with these chicks online for the last year or so, what it is in the rise of the divestors, she's thinking and either consciously or unconsciously, she's looking at a relationship with a white man, bro, knowing the reality that he don't really give a fuck about her. So she may be kind of thinking about a Black man, but underlying in a state of consciousness, she's like, if I get with this white man, he really ain't gonna be fucking down for me, and the Black man is gonna fucking disown me. So I'm
Bro,
fucked.
look, let me just say this shit. Let me just say this. I'm just gonna keep it a buck here, right? Like I'm down for my brothers. I'm not gonna say I'm not. I'm down for my brothers, right? But if I have a wife, like let me rephrase this so you can understand this better, right? I have like literal biological family members, right? I have two daughters. And, you know, like while I fuck with my niggas, you know what I'm saying? You know, real talk. No, real talk now. Like, I gotta look out for my daughters before I look out for like the average dude on the street, right? or like you got a difference of opinion in regards to this. Like when it comes to your wife, you sharing bills, you sharing a bed, you sharing a house with this woman, but you gonna like ride or die with your girls before your fucking husband or your wife? This is the sort of shit that doesn't make sense. But then, because at the end of the day, the community is only as strong as your families are. If your families aren't strong, how the fuck you gonna have a strong community? If your families aren't intact and you don't have fidelity to your family, then how are you gonna learn fidelity to anything or anyone else? And the last time I checked, man, look, no disrespect to women all across the board, but women they can be as fucking petty and as nasty as any men amongst each other. God damn. Like, I don't understand that shit. So you mean black women just, they all get along perfectly fine? Like, there's never any disagreements? Like, recently, like, so, some girls beat the shit out of some chick out of town, beat her to death with their fists, man. So women can hurt each other too. Like this whole idea that all women are just like all nice and nurturing and caring. I don't know where that's coming from. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. But then she goes on to say this shit though. Look, and she says this.
Make it make sense. You want help, but you don't want to be a helper. You want to live in a kind and generous world, but you don't want to be kind and generous. You want to live in a communally oriented society, but you don't want to be communal. Children who feel like they're worthy, children who are mentally well, create strong communities. And that is not exclusively the responsibility of parents. It's fun that black people who claim to be the most, communally minded, oriented people in the world have no problem repeating these ideas about children being the individual and sole responsibility of the people who birthed them. I find that to be really fucking weird. Not only does it not align with how we've operated historically.
What?
Okay, so look, I'm gonna invite you in if you want to talk about it. You can.
What
okay?
in the hell? Yo, bro.
No, I'm just telling you. Here's a woman that's already stated that as it pertains to her husband, like, this is the way the order goes to me. I can't speak about how it goes to everybody else, but this is how it would go to me. Okay? This is the pecking order of who you rock with and who you look out for and who has the most import in your life, okay? Familially. The first thing is your spouse, right? If you have one. That's the first person you got like fidelity to, because the two of y'all are supposed to be one. That's how it's supposed to be. Then after that, it's your children. Then after that, it's your extended family. And then after that, it's the rest of the community, or the people that you associate with, or the other families you associate with in your community, your neighbors. That's how I perceive it. I'm just saying that's how I see it. So I don't understand, like, also, let me just say this, right? I can't speak about white people and what they do with their kids, but we've already got the research, man. Like, black men, when they have the ability to be involved with their children, are actually more active and spend more time and do, more nurturing to their children than white men, Mexican men, and Asian men. So I'm confused.
Yeah. But you want
motherfuckers, you want motherfuckers to take care of all of the kids in common. This is like, it reminds me of Plato's Republic, where like nobody knows who their mother or their father is. All the kids are just like shared in common. And then she went on to make this remark about history. Like, if you use history, especially of the black familial condition, as a, you know, like a template for what is normal, then you're actually normalizing pathology in and of itself, because the black family structure in the United States is based upon slavery.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But this is the new black history with the LGBTQ.
Bro, I don't get it. It has everything to do with black men and their progress, their power and their bro. Look. As I said before, hey Maggle, let me just say this shit for the record, Maggle, and don't all them goddamn them caps and shit, Maggle. What the fuck can a Negro produce in the United States, dog? Straight up. Power and progress in what regard, dog? In what way? In what manner, man? In what manner? The one thing that fucking gets my goat about all this shit about let's make ourselves, how the fuck do we do it, nigga? Stop telling me what the fuck I need to do. You come up with the answers. I'm sick and tired of all these niggas coming on this goddamn format saying we ain't speaking power and all this shit. What the fuck are you doing, dog? Where your bread at? Where your power program at? Where your power platform at, nigga? And then we leave, where we gonna go, dog? Leave and go where, dog? I'm doing the show. If you don't like the show, get your Maggle ass on. Then I gotta address it, because every time I fucking see you, you got a snarky fucking comment. You just like a little bitch ass nigga going from chat to chat to chat, saying fucking snide ass little pussy ass shit, dog. I'm sick and tired of all that whole ass shit, bro. Go your bitch ass elsewhere. I'm about to ban your motherfucking ass. Now that's the motherfucker I'm about to ban. Don't tell me what the fuck I can and what the fuck I can't talk about. If you don't like what I'm talking about, you do have the option to take your bitch hoe ass on elsewhere. This the problem with you hoe ass niggas in the black manosphere, man. You try to tell niggas what they can and what you can't say. If you don't like what the fuck I'm saying, get the fuck on down the road, nigga. I don't understand what you niggas don't get about that, man. How many motherfucking countless times do I have to hear some trivial chicken bone, chicken wing ass, chicken George ass nigga telling me what the fuck I'm supposed to say and what I ain't supposed to say?
They chicken George.
And the Matt, we the same way, man. If you don't like hearing the N-word, man, you can get your motherfucking chicken George ass on too. You ain't been here. I don't need to have you here either. You can get the fuck on down the road either. You can go ahead and ride the fuck on out too, dog.
Don't ban them yet. Give them some more smoke before they go.
The whole thing is, all you talking about power building niggas, what have you built, man? Show me what you built, nigga. Fuck all the talking, nigga. You saying I'm talking. Tell me what you built, motherfucker. Show me what the fuck your bum, dusty, dirty ass is built, nigga. Show me the shit, bro. Now, BGS, man, bro, I have to address this shit, because I'm tired of all these SBE niggas coming in here demanding that I tell a motherfucker or show a motherfucker what we supposed to be doing. Nigga, you give me the fucking pathway, nigga. St. John the Baptist ass niggas. MOT gonna show you what way? Show you the way to where? To deliver a pizza, nigga? Some Hostess cupcakes to some white motherfuckers at a convenience store, nigga?
They the Pied Piper, bro. They the
That's
Pied
what he
Piper.
gonna do, dog. He gonna show you how to get a delivery boy gonna tell you how to get the motherfucking products a white man built from one goddamn state or one store to another. A warehouse to a motherfucking convenience store or a goddamn gas station that's rebuilding the black community. How, nigga? Tell me how. Tell me how, nigga. Show me how a truck driving nigga is gonna rebuild the nation, nigga. Why?
Well,
Tell me that shit. Explain to me that, bro.
Well,
Explain to me how delivering pizzas and Hostess cupcakes and Twinkies and ding dongs is gonna get the motherfucking goddamn place built up, man, in the black community. How, dog?
The women is getting money from Wells Fargo.
Man. Explain it, man.
That Wells Fargo money from for the black women. That's how.
You can have a fleet of trucks, nigga. You can have 1,000 trucks, bro. Tell me how that's rebuilding the black nation, bro. Huh? Explain it. One truck at a time. You gotta have millions of trucks, dog.
They don't get it. They don't get it.
Nigga, you gotta have weapons, man. You gotta have a whole bunch of shit. You gotta have institutions. We gotta have a small black business. Nigga, come on, dog. It ain't enough small black businesses to put every black person to work in this bitch. Now, I'm coming for jugglers tonight, man. Tell me we're gonna build it one truck at a time. Nigga, ain't enough trucks in this bitch. But you gonna get every black man in the manosphere in the trucking, nigga? So every black man in the manosphere gonna get a truck now? Man, I act like I am, bro. Don't tell me how the fuck a PhD supposed to act. Do you have one? Do you have one? At the end of the day, don't tell me how I'm supposed to act. See, this is the whole ass shit that I don't like from bitch ass niggas, man. Stay the fuck off my channel, bro. Go play with your weed, nigga. Go play with your weed, bro. Go play with your weed, nigga. Go play with your weed, bro. See, this is the sort of shit that gets my goat, bro. And I know I'm off, right now I'm off course, but it deserves to be said. Fuck all these hoe ass niggas, man. I told, man, if any nigga got a beef with me, man, they need to come see me about it. Stop all this old bitch ass chat shit, man. Fuck all that. You don't never see me on none of y'all channels saying none of that bullshit. I don't watch your content. I don't fuck with you hoe ass niggas. You're uninteresting, uninspiring, and you ain't doing shit. Don't nobody watch y'all shit. Nobody fucks with you niggas, man.
They next door neighbor watches.
Pocket watching asshole ass niggas. Fuck out of here, man. Don't watch me, go watch TV, nigga. Don't watch me, watch TV, nigga. Telling me how a PhD supposed to act. Well, you don't even know what the fuck work is involved in attaining one. Johnny come lately ass wanna be white ass niggas. Fuck all that shit, man. Give a fuck about no goddamn MOT followers, man. Y'all can go eat dicks, nigga. Fuck y'all. I mean that shit too. Keep my name out your mouth and keep his name out of my mouth. Bottom line. Fucking with me on my shit. I told you niggas to stay out of my shit, man. Fuck is wrong with you dudes, man?
Oh, shit.
You got niggas here, man. You got black men who are rich beyond compare, man. Kanye West. What the fuck they just do to this man? If business is the way.
How so, Sway? That's what he said. He
You
said, how
explain it to
so?
me. Business is the way. This is the way. Like motherfucking we watching The Mandalorian or some shit. This is the way. This is the way.
Ah.
Fuck out of here with that bullshit, man. Bound down to no nigga, man. I don't condone dick riding.
You don't condone it?
I don't condone dick riding.
Oh shit. We ban it.
Talking about we supposed to build up. What you building, man? I already had a video out here talking about the shit that I have built, man. I actually build bridges, man. I actually know how to build bridges. And I can hop in a cab and deliver some Hostess cupcakes and some Twinkies too. And some ice cream, some Zuzus and Wham Whams, some Ding Dongs. But don't clown me. Don't give a fuck about your man. I don't give a fuck about that bullshit, bro. Straight up, man. Let me shout out all the people supporting the Green Gorilla channel. If you want to support somebody else, by all means, I'm not excluding it. Go ahead. All I'm saying is if you don't like my content, stay off my fucking channel, man. I'm not your fucking savior, nigga. I told you I'm not your leader, man. I ain't your psychologist. I'm not your spiritual fucking advisor. I'm not even your goddamn professor. We ain't under no contractual arrangement or an agreement for me to fucking give you a grade and you to hand in papers and to take tests or exams at all. Talk about hard ass work, building shit. I done built concrete plants, bridges, industrial parts, garages, all kind of shit with my fucking hands, man. Talk about producing and building shit. Fuck out of here with that fucking nigga talk, man. That Chicken George ass shit. I'm building me a home. Go build it then, nigga. Build your own community. Watch that motherfucker get burnt down like rosewood. Fuck out of here, man. Shout out to Aaron Smith, man. Stay off my shit, man. I swear to God, man, boy, you niggas don't know, man. I wish I was back in my older days, man. I'd come see some of you hoe ass dudes. I think the manosphere needs a fight night in a city where we rent out an octagon, where all the niggas that talk shit gotta confront each other. Shout out to all spades, man. Shout out to the Mississippi Delta guy, man. It ain't like I'm opposed to business. I ain't opposed to motherfuckers getting money. I ain't opposed to service work. I ain't opposed to construction work. But don't be opposed to the work I'm doing either. Tell me, you trying to silence me? Nigga, bruh, you are not the type of niggas to silence me. I can guarantee you that. You's a bunch of cornball, bitch-made niggas. You definitely ain't gonna silence me. I'm just keeping it a buck, man. I'm keeping it 100% real.
Shit. Oh, hell no.
I ain't been to nowhere where I've been silenced on earth. You think I'm about to be silenced in a fucking virtual space with a bunch of fucking weirdos, man? Come on, man. Stop the bullshit. Motherfuckers looking at like motherfucker the Black Messiah or some shit. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm just shouting out. I'm doing housekeeping right now. Come to my channel with that whole shit, man. I don't move like that, bro. Real talk. And people invest in what they fucking like. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Timothy Blewett. Shout out to Ghetto User, man. Shout out to Be Easy Glover, man. Just wanted to show some love. Shout out to you, bro. Real talk. Shout out to Jay Rizzle, man. Looking like Young Common over there, man. Shout out to Mr. Heat, man. Shout out to CJ Gassam, man. Brother look like he ready to go, man. You know, get into the step, boy. You know what I'm saying? For the S1W, Supreme Mathematics, man. Shout out to Passport OG, man. Shout out to Money Motion, man. Shout out to Anubis, man. Shout out to Julius Ferguson, man. Shout out to Be About Peace and Pleasure, man. And I already shouted out the rest of y'all. Very Little, Jason Hills, and BGS Hip Boy and the Life of Commerce, man. Big up to y'all, man. Thank you. I had to go through that, you know what I'm saying? Again, all I'm asking is, man, stay off my dick, man. Matter of fact, get off my dick, nigga, and tell your bitch to come here, nigga. How about that? Get off my dick, nigga. Tell your bitch to come here, man. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. I told you niggas to leave me alone. But you keep hovering around my fucking show like flies on shit. You keep fucking with me. I don't go nowhere y'all niggas at and say nothing. My presence is never there. But you want to keep coming around where I'm at. One thing I don't do, I don't go around places where nigga I know I'm not wanted. If I am the Bloods, I'm not going where the Crips at. If I'm the Crips, I'm not going where the Bloods at. If I'm the GDs, I ain't going where the BDs at. But you niggas want to keep fucking skating uphill. You want to see what the fuck's gonna happen if you keep fucking around with real niggas. That's what you want to see, don't you? On some old, I'm a macho man ass shit, village people ass, hoe ass niggas. Stay the fuck off my channel, man. Macho man. Gonna rebuild the whole world. Fuck out of here. Don't nobody fuck with you. The bitches don't fuck with you, then niggas don't fuck with you. How about that? Niggas no hoes fuck with you. Pussiless men. Fuck out of here, man. But anyway, man, back to the main, the question at hand. All I'm doing is trying to point out, how can you have a strong community when the building blocks, the essential building blocks that comprise the building are defective? You want to build a fucking masterpiece Lego piece or something like that, but you have broken, fractured, and fissured Lego pieces. How you gonna build a strong ass goddamn Lego piece or a piece of art if the very building blocks that you have to use to build it are fucked up? Then you got a whole bunch of sucker ass niggas talking about, well, you know, we're gonna rebuild it. Rebuild it how?
They gonna get the women to do it, bro.
Let me just say this shit and I'm gonna end it, right? First of all, most of you niggas can't even get no pussy. Fucking weirdos. And then not only that, if you build up the world, if you build your bank account up, and you ain't got nobody, you ain't got no descendants, what the fuck are you working for then, nigga?
Damn.
I'm just tired of hearing all this macho tough shit, man. This progressive, we're really men type shit. And, well, I'm sophisticated, man. Man, dude, I could dance circles around you with all kind of verbiage and graduated terminology if I so desired. But now you're going to sit here and try to tell me, like, I don't have the capacity, the wherewithal. I don't have, understanding and vernacular to utilize in order to demonstrate the superlative measures and the means by which I can express myself. Go channel surf and go try to bid off somebody else and play that motherfucking bullshit ass Joan and whatever the fuck y'all into. Go do that shit on somebody else's channel, bro. Don't do it on mine.
Also, you don't care about kids? I've been so disgusted. And y'all remember that conversation about the McDonald's and, he don't have to feed them kids? I am so disgusted by when people are talking about birthing children, that the narrative of those kids are your responsibility. Don't expect any help after you have kids. Don't expect the community. Don't expect friends and family to babysit. Don't expect to get any money. Like, what? Oh, those are your kids, not my kids. And I'm like, make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Bruh, in the black community, that shit is happening already anyway. Motherfuckers keeping everybody kids anyway.
Yeah,
I got rid of Cartel. I got rid of Cartel though. Because he being disrespectful too. Anybody today that's being disrespectful, they gone. It ain't about pussy at all, but at least being able to have the capacity to get it. Fuck out of here with this bull. Today I'm cutting heads off, man.
Want help, but you don't want to be a helper. You want to live in a kind and generous world, but you don't want to be kind and generous. You want to live in a communally oriented society, but you don't want to be communal. Oh, the other thing. Labor. Labor. You don't owe anybody your labor. Are you fucking kidding? How much labor have each of us benefited from in order to get here? Unpaid, unasked for, unreturned labor. And sometimes I talk about this and I'm like, am I just from a different time? Did I just live and grow up and come of age in just a completely different world than y'all?
Yeah, you did. Apparently. Because back in the day when you did have a sense of community and you had strong families, people would actually look after each other. But you know why it doesn't happen anymore? Because everybody is in a power trip about theirs and theirs and theirs and what they're getting. There's no reciprocity. There's no feeling of mutuality. There's no feeling of mutual support and cooperation. It's about every man for his goddamn, or woman for their goddamn self. Everybody's worried about their interest or identity group, or they're worried about their own particular situation and what they can get out of it. But you're willing to share, and I'm speaking specifically to this woman, she's willing to share with other women, potentially women she don't even know, before she'll share with the motherfucker she laying in the bed with. Now, I don't know what you know, but practically, you share more with... What is there more precious to share than your fucking body, man? Explain. You tell me. What can you give up that's more precious than your body?
Well,
your body before money. Your body is more important than any your political affiliation or your philosophical ideals or whatever. Your body becomes before that. You're sharing the communion with your body, your intimacy with somebody. But you're willing to share your intimacy with a motherfucker As a woman, particularly though, I mean, and to
They
still
think
have to me, all that shit means is the same shit that men used to say. Little boys, in fact, G's up, hoes down, because men used to say that, like Snoop Dogg, and like the niggas on the West Coast used to say G's up, hoes down. This is the same sort of vernacular. It's the same sort of sentiment, man. But then you wonder why the community is not together when the family units aren't together. So you want the community to be whole, but how can the community be whole when the families, the basic building blocks of the community, aren't even whole? Now I can play this on and on and on, but the whole point is this. Another thing that you have to factor into consideration, man. There are a lot of black people in the black community. We need to stop pretending that black people in the black community are all doing well. Black people, man, on average, man, I guarantee you, are at the bottom rung of the economic ladder, bro. It's just the facts.
she has to ignore that to even say all this shit.
Like, black people oftentimes have a problem feeding themselves and taking care of themselves, paying their lights, their gas, having food to eat. And the question is, then you have people who are willing to be participants of family life, but they can't even be involved because why? Because y'all smashing the patriarchy? Too much control, too much unpaid labor goes in to actually formulating and to cultivating a functional family life? But anyway, salutations to Equalizer and Martin Pie. I don't know who Martin is, man. If you trolling, bro, I'm gonna cut you.
Oh no.
Okay,
no, sir.
Today I'm done with trolls, bro.
Oh no. My name is.
I swear to God, man, I am done with trolling, bro.
I feel you. Now my name is Martin Opai. It's Nigerian.
God bless, man.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Can we throw in the 2 cents real quick or?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, yes sir. Like my biggest thing when it comes to our community issues is I think we're just too cooperative as far as living amongst each other in a delusion. I think we're all really just misplaced and displaced as far as what is perception and what is reality. And even when I look at our women, even this woman right here, she's a beautiful woman, etc. But I think a lot of women are even disillusioned with their own self-image, man. Like I see women all the time, no real knock to them, but when I see like weave and eyeliner and gloss and makeup and breast augmentation and booty shots, and I'm like, damn, man, like are we really that far off of what we're naturally supposed to be doing, what we're naturally supposed to be? And I think it's just a part of trying to, accept this mirage that we're participating in, man. We're in a matrix right now, and it's difficult to really get anything done collectively because we're in such a disillusioned position. So I just want to say I think it really just boils down to when are we willing to break free of our disillusions, and when are we really to really start interacting with reality instead of what is perception. So that's just my 2 cents.
So look, I believe that like there is a lot of delusion, but I think that more than anything else, like black folks in America are the product of the American superstructure at large.
Yes, sir.
Okay? It just is what it is. So you're taking a group of people who've been enculturated in a social contract tradition that places a paramount value on individual freedom and liberty And now you expect for them to have a whole different set of values apart from the market-based, social contract-based policies and practices that have been inculcated in them since they've been children. People who believe that they have rights against the government, other individuals. And then now all of a sudden you want them to have, like, I guess, the spring forth from their parents' loins or their mother's loins with the understanding that there's a rich and a vital and a burgeoning community that needs to be, you know, custodialized over. Like, that's not how shit works.
Right. We've been amalgamated. Mm-hmm.
You have to teach people how to be part of a community. You have to teach them the practices and the values and the mores associated with community from a toddler on up. You can't just teach kids, okay, and I don't think this woman has children, okay? But that's neither here nor there. But the reality is, I can't speak to other women, okay? But I do know this. The very idea that, like, everybody's looking after everyone else, that may have been something that occurred when I was a child in certain communities, okay? That definitely is not what I see in the same neighborhood that, you know, I grew up in now. I don't see it's not the same. Mm-hmm. People don't even know each other who live 3 or 4 houses down. They don't,
That's a fact.
They rarely speak to each other.
That's a fact. Mm-hmm.
They have no neighborhood associations where they come together and they do things collectively. Like, even for leisure or entertainment or just for purposes of socializing. Like, the people, like, when I grew up in the neighborhood I grew up in, I knew everybody on the block. The Bates, the Butlers, the Stallings, you know, the Perrys. I mean, they were all families. Everybody knew everybody. Right. Everybody traveled together. They would go in each other's home. Go over to Miss Perry's house and get this for me. They were interdependent, not to the point where they depended on each other for everything, but they could rely on each other for simplistic shit. Mm-hmm. Go get this from Miss Perry. Go across the street and get that from Miss Mary. Go over to the Perry's house and get this. Go to the Butler's house and get that. Today, you're told not to go to the neighbor's house. Right. Don't go over there. Don't you go over there. Don't you go over to that house. There's no trust.
And what do you feel about what seed was sown to really, you know, enhance such mistrust amongst each other? Because, like, what you're saying right now was exactly how I grew up. I was born in 1990, and literally everybody on my block, man, I went to everybody's house. Everybody came over. We played street football. Like, everything was really community oriented. But now we're in a space and time right now where, like you just said, you can't even go to somebody's house and, you know, ask for sugar. Let alone, like, you know, like the simple things. I don't know where that specific like that turning point happened where everybody just mistrusts and distrust each other. There's a lot of gossiping. There's a lot of backbiting. You know, there's a lot of things going on that sows even further seeds of dissension. I'm like, bro, what happened? What happened?
Desegregation happened. Integration happened. A lack of, you know, collective, you know, maneuvering and pushing forward. Like, Dr. You know, I know I was very vulgar earlier, and, you know, I apologize to the people who follow me in good faith and who watch the content in good faith. I apologize for the rant or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, there was a point, and Dr. Neal talked about this, where black people believed that they shared a linked fate. Rich, poor, male, female, straight, gay. There was an understanding that there was a linked fate for all of us. That doesn't exist anymore. Identity politics is the prevailing form of political posturing and posing at the current moment in the world we live in. It is what it is. Okay? Now, I think it's a turn in the wrong direction. That's just my sentiment. I think, you know, one could argue some attention to identity politics was appropriate, but I mean, it's like, how do you, like, this is a dead horse. It's run its course. It's like trying to run the flea flicker play every play in the Super Bowl. I mean, it worked once.
That nigga is hilarious, bro. That nigga is hilarious.
I mean, look, it works. It'll work if you use it sparingly.
Oh wow,
that nigga's hilarious.
That's a fact, man.
But you can't continue to use it incessantly. Otherwise, everybody will be on to what you're doing, or it'll fracture. Black people. Okay, so what's happened is this. I've said this so many times. Okay. At the end of the day, white women hijacked the civil rights movement, man. They took what black people got sick with dogs for, what they got hosed down with water hoses for, what they got spit on for. They just appropriated it for themselves. And, I mean, God, forbid Miss Ann doesn't get what the fuck she wants. Okay? So she's been able to receive what she wants as belonging to a category called sex. Okay? So when that term, that category was added to the civil rights legislation in the 60s, they're able to fucking intervene and basically take all of what Negroes had fought for. Now, women who are black, in virtue of the fact that they are also women, are able to benefit from these policies.
Mm-hmm.
But by and large, issues related to race are shelved. They're tabled. They're pushed to the back of the cupboard. You know that food you got in the cupboard that you get some
right.
You say you're gonna eat that, but you never get around to eating it, and then it spoils.
You ain't seen it in a year. Yeah, man.
So you never get to eating it. You never get around to it. So all I'm saying. It's
a great point, man. Mm-hmm.
All I'm trying to say is identity politics. It was a way to correct what wasn't correct in terms of class-based politics and race-based politics. Okay, it was a correction, but it overcorrected, and now it's become reified. People reify these categories, and that's a fancy way of saying they concretize oppression related to categories that they belong to. I'm sorry, I'm just not willing to listen to a black female lesbian professor who makes $150,000 a year talk about how fucking hard her life is. I'm fucking sick of that shit.
She's gay?
Huh?
No.
She's a lesbian?
Kim Foster? No.
Not her.
Not that we know. No.
I'm just talking about people in general.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, man. Come on now. She can get it now. But for real.
She's not a beautiful woman, but she's not like when I say it, I'm not repulsed by it. I'm not trying to be ignorant by saying that. I'm not like, I wouldn't put her.
But I'm just saying I would have been distraught if she was like a lesbian or something. You know what I mean? Because it happens too much in our community.
Wait. Let me land. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you be? Because what she would be doing is practicing political lesbianism, which a lot of black women do. Why would you be distraught?
I'm speaking more so on the terms of like real life lesbianism. You know what I mean? And
wait, political lesbianism is not real life lesbianism?
More, yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Let me put it this way. Look, at the end of the day, man. Look, I'm just saying, like, to me, the woman's like a 5. Okay, that's just my.
That's fair. That's fair.
But some people say you take 2 nickels, you can put them together and get a dime. Okay, or whatever. All right.
That's fair.
I'm saying in my viewpoint, I probably no disrespect to the young lady.
They saying I'm a simp.
I probably will pass. Okay.
and saying I'm a simp because I think she's an attractive woman. Look, hey, look,
Wait,
look,
wait, wait,
hey,
brother. Look, you've been monopolized. Let me just get my intro in.
oh,
If you
my
don't
bad,
mind, if
my
you
bad,
don't
brother.
mind, yeah.
Sauchi was here first, though.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. I just, I just wanted to give a little light on, with the income, because they always talk about, it's finance and this, that, and the third. But I mean, we've gone over this in many different angles. There's well over 50 million white folks, right? And there's obviously millions more, I mean, compared to the women, tens of millions more white women than there are black women. And there's more of them married, right? And then there's more black men who are married, even though there's 2+ million more black women. Okay? Like when you look at the stats, they're not, and I'm just a cold-blooded numbers guy. They're not winning at anything that has anything to do with progress or growth or family formation or health or income. Nothing. Like absolutely nothing. So briefly, these numbers are from Bureau of Labor Statistics, first quarter 2023, issued out April 18, 2023. Just listen and see if you catch these two key points. Okay? So amongst the whites, this is median usual weekly wages, all right? Full-time people, full-time workers. White men, $1,222. White women, $1,007. This is a week, gross income. Blacks, black men, $886. Black women, no, excuse me. Yeah, black men, $909 a week. Black women, $862. Asians, Asian men, $1,573. Asian women, $1,313. Hispanics, $917 for the men, $779 for the women. Okay, so when you hear amongst all these, right, the ones who are least married together are the blacks, and they basically make the least on average. Okay, so if the women aren't marrying the black men that they're saying that are not treating them right, that aren't doing X, Y, and Z, that don't make money, even though I constantly prove that on average, black men make more money than black women. What are we talking about? Obviously, they're not talking about reality. And this is the problem with what they're supposedly presenting. They're literally not talking about reality. Okay? At my job, the CEO, she's going to be 73. She makes over $5 million. Her husband's an attorney. She's still married. Her son is a couple years older than me. I'm 40. He's a senior executive. So you know he's definitely, he makes more money than my manager, who makes about 600 grand. Okay? That's how they move. That's how everybody else moves. But black women can't seem to get it.
What the reason they can't get it is because, I mean, ultimately, first of all, black people have a love-hate problem with their own selves anyway.
Correct. Yes. Okay? Unfortunately.
And that also plays into, how they deal with their intimate relationships.
Yes.
And it doesn't help that, today the superstructure of American culture, Western culture in general, again, it promotes negative liberty.
Yep.
And, it doesn't promote sticking through rough patches, or it doesn't teach self-sacrifice. Now, the funny thing is, these motherfuckers want self-sacrifice for the community writ large, but they're not willing to make self-sacrificial gestures or overtures in the context, in the context of their intimate partner relationships.
Yes.
How in the fuck are you supposed to learn? How are children supposed to learn how to be self-sacrificial, self-abnegating? How are they supposed to learn how to delay gratification? when everywhere around them, they're getting the opposite message.
Correct.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can say is if you don't have the building block, it's like the foundation. The foundation for a community is going to be the families that make up the community. Now, this is the one thing that black men have to be really understanding about. And it seems like we lost this. Even as we reach maturity, we can decide to formulate communities of our own. That's a fact, okay? Yeah. However, most black males are going to be born they're going to be birthed out of the wombs of black women. Yes. The vast majority. Am I stating something that's not a fact here?
It's an actual fact.
And most of who you are is going to be contingent upon and have a great deal to do with your familial upbringing, like the very formative years of your life, between the ages of what? 3 and 7, your character is going to be fixed.
Yep.
So if your character is cultivated in a garden this full of toxic soil, how can you expect all of this virtue to exude and to accrue in the community writ large? It doesn't make any sense to me.
It is impossible.
It's not supposed to make sense.
It's impossible, and then you can't compete out there amongst, in the real world against other families or other institutions. You have no real representation in any institution of power. I mean, it's literally a suicide mission. But when we say that, we're being negative. No, we're giving facts, we're giving solutions, but we're getting pushback. Okay, well, then when we leave, we still get pushback. See, so it doesn't matter what we do. So then it's like, wait a minute, we're trying to solve the problem, we're making ourselves better, we're giving you solutions. You don't want to take it, you don't want to take the actions, so we just gonna leave it at that. I mean, it's unfortunately.
But I do want Mr. Z to go ahead and get his word in because he's been waiting in the wings pretty patiently. So,
thank you, Doug the Green Gorilla. So I gotta state the obvious. Do I gotta state the obvious? I gotta state the obvious. Listening to Kim speak, and by the way, to the brother, no, she is not same-sex loving that I know of. But the point I was trying to make is that even if she was, that wouldn't be a stretch, right? And it would be probably political lesbianism, which means they know they didn't come out the womb same-sex loving. They weren't initially attracted to the same sex, but as a protest to you, Mr. XY chromosome black, they'll engage in that because they don't want to be anywhere near you, right? They're waging a jihad against you, and so they're engaging in the same-sex loving thing, so they won't be conflicted. And yes, there are white and black women primarily that engage in that, and they openly say that's what they're doing. So that's the point I was trying to make. Number one. Number two, stating the obvious, Kim Foster is just telling you, we won the gender war, get down with the gynocratic order, bow down. It is the hive model that the nameless protagonist speaks about. When they speak about community,
Mr. Z, yes.
Right, right. When they speak about community,
say that shit.
When they thank you. When they speak about community, what they're really speaking about is the hive model. You are the worker bee. You bow down to the women at hand, and this is going to what Green Gorilla was saying, where she essentially is saying, "Hose up, G's down." Right? We won. Right? We are getting the baubles from dominant white racist society, and you bow down. And when they say communal, they're essentially saying, because we won, you do what we say. And what that means is you will be the what does Obsidian call it? The non-producing males, or the ones that don't have sex, but you just do still.
It's drones,
right?
Like you said, drones. But look, here's my viewpoint about this. Okay, so look, your first point, briefly, say it again because I want to cover both points. I forgot it. But
the political lesbianism one, or the one where
okay, political lesbianism. All right, so look. All the white women started lesbian communes in the 60s and the 70s more so than the 60s, right? Where are they now? They don't exist. They don't fucking exist, man. Okay? And there's a reason why they don't exist. Okay? Because Just because you're a woman doesn't mean that there's virtue that's going to accrue in a relationship that you have. It's not just going to be harmony there because it's two motherfuckers that's bleeding. You get what I'm saying? Like, I mean, this idea that paradise, inheres in female on female relationships is absolute fantastical. They
The myth of the gynocentric utopia.
They exhibit aggression with each other just like any other group of people do. Okay? Because they're human beings.
Right.
All right? Also, women are violent towards each other. They sexually assault each other. That was what was happening in lesbian communities. They were assaulting each other sexually and physically. And they learned, women can be bitches too. Duh, no
But
strange
they keep
secret
on
there.
running into this wall, Green Gorilla, Dr. Green Gorilla, is because and some men buy into it too, the concept that women are morally superior to men. They're going to continue to run into that wall, like the story of the white lady that started that all-female business and it ran into the wall in a couple years because they continue to assume that they're morally superior, and they preach that to us, and there's even some men that actually believe that. And then women run
But
into
is
the
that
wall that
only
they're
the
human
fact
beings
simply
too.
because they're not men, though? Is that only the fact simply because they're not men?
I
No,
How do
I
they
think
measure
they
their
think they have
so
better
moral
communication
superiority?
skills than us.
here's the deal. Look,
Okay,
let me just say this shit. White women came up with the patriarchy. The termagant white woman, the man-hating white woman, basically created a fucking political movement. I mean, they were able to hide in plain sight. Okay? Who knows what their family situations were? I'm not saying that men didn't abuse them. Probably did. Okay? It happens. Okay? It happens quite often. But the inverse is also true. Like, there are a lot of fucking weirdo women out here. Psychopathological, sociopathological, just like men are. Now, one could argue like men tend to exhibit these qualities more so than women. I mean, at least that's what the sociological literature tells us. There's a lot of more weirdo men than there are, or neurotic men.
We're on the extremes. They're more in the middle.
But at the end of the day, look, to argue like that there is, female pathology is non-existent is fantastical. It's ridiculous, okay? And also, speaking to your last point, bro, black men, like no group of people are going to allow themselves, especially men in general, no group of men over time are going to allow themselves to be passed over and pushed to the periphery incessantly with no resistance, no objections at all ever. It's unrealistic to expect it. But whatever determinant white women have said now becomes gospel and law for all women writ large all throughout the world.
Yeah.
And the question is like, how that doesn't work for us, man. It just doesn't work. And then the reality is they still work together. White men and white women work together. All this shit is a ruse, if you ask me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a ruse. So now you have bought into the rules like 3-card money, and you all in, and them bitches they got the ball in their back pocket, waiting for you to flip the card so you can give up your money.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So black women are basically running into a clothesline at the end of the tunnel.
They're being used as the buffer class, and they want the position. They just don't like the consequences of being the petite bourgeoisie of the black community. They don't like the price of it.
Basically,
They love the position, but they don't like the price. Go ahead, Kev.
Or to put it a better way, right? I don't know if anybody's ever seen like the series of Ozark on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, listen, and I think Harker Tito said it best when he said that, white American women are the world's biggest opportunists, where it's like, if a so-called white woman is going to backstab somebody, she's going to do it for a significant gain in money, prestige, political power, etc. Basically, she's going for the jugular. She's going for the deep bomb, 80 yards down the sideline, you know what I mean, that type of stuff. Whereas with a lot of so-called black women, when they try to backstab, they do it just to be petty and spiteful.
But
It's like they'll stab you in the back, like you said, just to claim moral supremacy or just to get like menial privileges and benefits.
Okay, before
But the reason
anybody
why
else
it blows
speaks,
for the face because it's not actually you know, I'm sorry, what do you think, Green Gorilla?
Okay, so I just wanted to follow up with what you said. Look, let me just say this: women are aggressive, okay, but they're aggressive in ways that are different from men.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, one of the things that women do in terms of aggression is gossiping and reputation ruination.
Yes.
That's what the fuck they do.
Social aggression.
My fear is, and this is why I talk about these issues, despite all of the heckling by these motherfucking John Henry ass type niggas that I've never seen built a shit. I ain't seen the hole where they beat the steam drill, do none of that shit. I don't see no evidence of them having built a fucking thing at all. But that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, I fear that we have enshrined into law various ways that fuel the flames of female aggression. You basically are saying, okay, you have a blank check to engage in the forms of abuse that are suited to what women do generally. Here you go. You got a blank check to engage in it in plain sight under the rubric or the veneer of justice. I would say aegis, but under the banner of justice, now you get to carry out your aggression. I don't see what's just about that. And then they want men to sit back and be quiet, and if you say anything about it, you have to be very diplomatic and dispassionate for fear that you might have violated some sort of social norm, which to me begs the question, because it's all of this shit that they got related to sex is based on race. Sexism is a facsimile of racism, with none of the actual oppression that basically people who are oppressed related to race had to endure. And that's why I show the pictures over and over again, and I'm like, you chicks was wearing fucking Ku Klux Klan hoods and shit.
White hats.
Y'all look like y'all was eating good, like y'all was like listening to Mr. Sandman, boom, boom, boom. Like life was just fucking just great.
Doing the Charleston.
I swear to man, dude, look, I can show you the pictures. Look, I kid you not. Hold on, let me let her. Man, I'm done with her.
Hello,
Man.
my lady.
You're like how
I
Margaret
swear,
saying,
man,
you're like
bro,
how
you
Margaret
think I'm
saying,
playing with you, bro? Like, look.
you're like how
Hello,
Margaret
my
saying,
life,
Those
son,
women
man.
don't look like. Now, look, let me just say this. To assert that because the lives of men and women are. Let me get rid of this. Let me stop the screen, and let me make myself a little bigger. You see that, right? So,
Yep.
just because the lives of men and women are different qualitatively doesn't mean that automatically women don't have any power at all. They just have power in a different kind of way. They have influence in a different kind of way. These women don't look like the average Negro doing Jim Crow, like this, the kind of conditions that adhered in their lives. It doesn't look like that to me. It looks like they're on the fucking receiving end, well, the giving end of racial animus, if you ask me.
Accurate.
That's just how I perceive it. Okay, that's how I see it. Now I don't know how you see it, but it looks like they're present at the lynchings. It looks like they're present yelling at little girls, black women, not even your sisters now. Y'all all in the shit together as women, right?
Mm-hmm. But this would be their mothers, right? And so their mothers are purposefully forgetful of it.
But that's a problem with black people in general because we don't teach each other the history of what occurred.
Right.
Like we don't.
Right.
Like, it's like they want to forget all the bad shit that happened. Like, okay, fuck all that. You don't. That's like playing a football game and then you like, okay, well we're not gonna tell the people like what the plays were before. Like the new rookies, we're not gonna teach them what happened, like the tactics from the team last year or some shit.
That's just weird. That's just weird.
But this is a community-wide phenomenon.
Yeah, but hold up, and thrown in a war that they won't call a war.
And look, you got these are white women being little girls being trained into the art of lynching, of murdering men, black men. But now all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that these women are all, for the most part, progressive. That they have the best interest of everyone at heart and want to include everyone and be diverse about everyone.
Well, they're saying it and presenting it from a position of power. And this is what a lot of people, especially black women, don't see. And again, I can bring up an example at my job. We had the quarterly meeting, and I told y'all the CEO is a white woman. She flat out, right at the very end, she said, "This is a company of what? To promote power." I'm paraphrasing. Power for women. She specifically said women. She didn't say black women. Women and LGBTQ, whatever. That's what she said. She didn't say black women. She didn't say black family. And she's the CEO. So I always say this because the highest position of any black woman, when you typically see them, even at my job, they're in middle management. You see what I'm saying? Like they don't see
Equalizer. Look, Sauchi. Look, here's the deal, right? I'm gonna play it for you.
Yeah.
Let me just play it for you, because you know, like they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Most important changes that have taken place in respect to the status of women since you've been in Congress.
Well, I think perhaps most important change was the one that added sex to the bill of 1964. This bill was drafted really to help Negroes.
You couldn't hear that?
I could hear it.
You could hear it?
Yeah. Nah, I ain't hear it.
Yeah, it was clear. I heard it.
I heard it.
Most important changes that have taken place in respect to the status of women since you've been in Congress.
Well, I think perhaps most important change was the one that added sex to the bill of 1964. This bill was drafted really to help Negroes. Now, it wasn't clear. It would have meant that Negro women would have been given rights that were not available to white women. Therefore, we added sex. It is my belief that the drafters had never had assumed that no women would get any rights. So that I think both white and black women were helped by the bill.
Wow. The odd shit about that is this, man. Like, come on, man. Like, white women knew that they've always had rights above and beyond black women, correct?
Exactly.
Yep.
But now you're worried about black women having rights above and beyond white women. Like, that shit don't even make sense, bro.
Right.
What right would they have? The right to have a fucking job, or the right to actually, be in public, or what? The right to, not have to do your fucking laundry and breastfeed your children? Like, what the fuck type of rights are y'all talking about? It doesn't even, to me, it doesn't make sense. But the reality is they added sex into the bill because they didn't want these niggas to have more than they had.
Correct.
That's crazy, man.
It just is what it, especially black men. She's lying. They didn't want black men to have shit that they didn't have.
I mean, well, the thing is, any access that black women attained in that would have, been handed over to us. So it would have been a large power shifting, and the way that our intention was on developing at that time. They would have been suffering what the hell they was putting up with back in the 1920s.
So look, the only thing I can say is look, during first wave feminism, they were willing to admit that like it was a problem to have black men have more rights than white women. Now they're framing it in the context of black women having more rights than white women, which to me is disingenuous because people don't tend, midstream, they don't tend to cut, and change directions and shit. Like the reality is that, you knew that black men would, basically come into politics, businesses, and get jobs, and you didn't really want to see that shit. You didn't want niggas to have power above and beyond your white little ass. So, I mean, and that's the reason for which the terrorist organizations like the Klan were formed in the first place.
Right.
This just the facts. That's why you got, and these women act like, okay, well, they were so oppressed. They were the oppressors, man. But now you got to believe that, you know, they're part of the justice movement. Like, working to their favor is progression. I just fail to see how women who used to be Klan members and shit and who were present at lynchings and their descendants, you know, like all of a sudden they changed their tune. Like all of a sudden now they just love Negroes and gay people.
Well, check it out, Gigi. All women are natural actors, right? They can turn it on or turn it off. So let's just say that they can toxically tap into some shit that's just, you know what I'm saying, not practical whatsoever for the stance that they present. And not understanding that, okay, well, it's only more of, they don't understand how white supremacistic is coded. You know what I'm saying? They think that they're still presenting, I guess, feminism, you can call it whatever you want to. It still smell more pilgrim than anything to me.
Well, you know, look, Pilgrim
I
is
think
all.
some do. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Gigi. No, I think some do. I think when you look at the average hood sister, maybe not. When you look at the average Kim Foster, she does. Her issue is that men won't bow, black men won't assume their role. She does not have an issue as much with white feminism if they let her play the game. If she could be both white woman play damsel in distress and white man power, she don't have an issue. Her issue is that you won't play your role under her. You know what I'm saying? The average sister, maybe you're correct. I'll give you that. The average sister, yeah, they don't really know what's going on. Maybe. But the hood, the very highly educated Ivy League attending women like him, oh yeah, that's why they're now talking community. In other words, gaslighting you to get to be part of the program. Look, we don't want y'all get down with the team, right? Like that's what, at least for me, what I'm seeing, that's what it's about. And every once in a while they'll slip up and say something that lets you know that's what they're really saying. You know, and I'll pause right there.
Yeah, so, you know, look, we're going to carry this for about 15 more minutes and then we're going to cut it loose. But, like, here's my thing, Rob. You know, look, I talked about the community, man. And, you know, look, I have an affinity for the black community because I was born out of it. I saw it operating the way I think it should. You know, like you got families looking out for each other. You know, you live in a neighborhood, but, you know, you intermingle within the context of the neighborhood. You look after each other's interests. You know, and it's not, and like she's saying, like I do get the understanding, like, you know, that it's not just about you and your kids, but like say for example, if the neighbor saw me doing something I wasn't supposed to do, he would correct me, or the woman would correct me. So stop doing that, little boy. I'm gonna tell your mama when she get home. Yeah. Well, come here and let me sit here and talk to you. You know, my mother used to do the same shit with all the kids in the hood as well. Come here, let me talk to you. But she had to have a different kind of tact in talking to these kids because the neighborhood had begun to change. It moved away from a upper middle class black neighborhood to a neighborhood with a lot of transient black folks. It is what it is, okay? And she would talk to these young kids because she was a social worker and to try to mitigate the circumstances before something happened wrong, you know, like before something happened that couldn't be reversed, okay?
Right.
Like violence to the point where you murder somebody, like YNW Melly or some shit. It's a lot of little Melly type motherfuckers where I'm from. Okay? So, you know, she'd be like, come here, boy. You smell like you've been smoking that reefer, blah, blah, blah. I know you've been skipping school too. I've seen you hanging around the block with blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to tell you, you know, like, you know, and the way she would talk to him, she would respect them as persons. Okay?
That's how you go.
And some she was able to turn around. Like I've seen it with my own two eyes.
Right.
But she would have them come to the house and do shit like wash my car. And if you washing her car, you know, you get some money. Now she has the opportunity to talk to you.
Right.
And she'll here. You want something to eat? You want something to drink? Come on here. Come on, get some of the shade. It's hot out there. And then she's smart. You know, like tactful.
Right.
But I've done some of the same kind of work in my neighborhood as well. I mean, even though I fell prey to some of the foolery my damn self. But the whole point is, you know, especially once you learn, you try to impart information to young kids because, to be quite honest, you care about the people that you see, that you live around to some degree, if you have a heart, right? If you're a human being. Human beings are social animals, okay?
Right.
But after a prolonged period of time, if you see people don't give a fuck about you, guess what? You're going to come to have less of a fuck about them as well. It's just it's human nature. It's called tit for tat. It's a strategy, man. Look up game theory and strategies. You know, like you got different kind of games. You got games against nature. You got games against individuals. You got cooperation games. You got zero-sum games. All different kinds of games. But the point is, if there's no reciprocity, no mutuality, people tend to say, fuck it. I mean, nobody cares. And like
that's a natural adjustment.
Black people moved into, you know, they moved from the South where there was more extended family, and they moved to cities, urban areas, where people really didn't know each other as much, okay? But some people from different class backgrounds, you know, like they were upwardly mobile, and the economic conditions that obtained in the 50s and the 60s were quite different than the ones that obtained in the 80s and the 90s, okay? The boomer generation had access to work in ways that the kids in the 90s and, you know, the millennials, you know, like men coming of age during that time, they didn't have access to the same kind of work, okay? The Fordist model of the economy had pretty much been abandoned by the 80s and 90s. And the country had begun to take this neoliberal turn. Like Henry Ford made sure that if you worked at his company, you were able to have enough money to buy the product that they were making.
Correct.
Okay? Fordism is a thing of the past. Like the outsourcing of labor, the non-investment in, you know, like actual, you know, like productive means, you know, as opposed to financial instruments, that's the new game. And this is what fucks me up so much. You got all these guys talking about rebuilding economically, but they don't have a deep and a thoroughgoing understanding of how business is conducted in the new world order, man.
I could tell you right now, right? That all ended in the 70s, right? So it pretty much was shipped out the country in the 70s, and you can see that with the income levels, and also with you know, building today, 70% of production is the service sector. So when these guys are talking, they don't know what they're talking about. 70% of our GDP is service sector, okay? Not manufacturing.
And that's important for people to understand. Like, look, let me just say that, and that's just nationwide. This has nothing to do with black folks. Okay?
Exactly.
So like this whole idea that, you know, like we're gonna develop like this industry. Like, first of all, you got to remember, like, I'm just being honest about this. Like, in order to develop industry, you got to go where industry is actually developing. That's why a lot of the white dudes left Europe, because it was a new world for them to cultivate.
Yes.
Okay. The new world has been cultivated. The land has been set out and, you know, cut up into plots and shit. You know, people already appropriated the opportunities here. Now you got to find elsewhere to go in order to seek your fortune. I'm just saying, like, I don't get what guys don't get about this. I mean, they have all of this so-called practical wisdom about how to affect and to impact real world change, but the solutions that they have are predicated upon a Horatio Alger story that doesn't even obtain in the conditions that, you know, like, exist. It just the material and the social and the economic conditions don't even exist anymore. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't any entry points into business in America at all, but I mean, think about it. The market
entrepreneurship was at a 40-year low. Green Gorilla, to further drive home your point, and I was kind of joking when I said the Mars thing, but I was kind of joking, kind of. But, you know, if we're going to make the class argument, these people are making a class argument also. That much of the Kim Fosters of the world, or even some of the sisters that we're talking about, they're making a class argument, and they are saying that they are of a better class than us because of the XX chromosome, right? And they're using the moral superiority stick to badger us up the head with, you know, and you know. So yeah, and shout out to Saushi for being here. We fundamentally have an issue in the Black community of not understanding economics. We don't realize that we don't live pre-1970 anymore. A handful of people do. You do, Gigi. BGS does. Dr. T does. some of the people on the panel and in the chat room do. But even when you hear about building, when you hear people speak about entrepreneurship, when you hear people speak about anything that has to do with finance, economy, any of that, they speak like we're still somewhere in the 50s or 40s or not even 1975. They speak it like we, pre 1970, and that does affect everything, including your intimate relationships, right? And I'll pause right there. I'm sorry.
And that's
a delusion.
And that's one of the reasons why I say it's over. And I don't say it because that's what I want, but as Green Gorilla was saying, okay, so let's say these productive guys are going to go into what is where you should be, right? Where everybody's trying to go right now. The global race right now is AI tech, but what powers that?
Yep.
Chips.
Yeah.
Are the best chips made in this country? No.
Nope. Taiwan.
Thank you. And you know what that company makes? 70% of the fucking chips in the world.
Yep.
And that's STEM. You're just not gonna get up tomorrow and get into STEM. That shit starts from child fucking hood.
Should we learn Taiwanese or?
And that's the thing. Like, look, we already know that the black community has not been invested in. And unfortunately, look, I'm not knocking a person like Kim Foster for being educated, great, but don't become miseducated to such an extent. Like, here's the one thing I just want to superimpose upon everyone's brain today. Like, you can't excise and marginalize certain members of the community for not belonging to categories established by white people, particularly like crazy ass white women, like some really pathological, I would consider to be a lot of psychotic and neurotic white women, and take their political axiology and enshrine it into something that's healthy for the black community. I don't understand it. Like, I don't get what, like, there's a difference between education and miseducation.
I get it.
And like, this, like, if black women would have conversations in earnest with us, they wouldn't get the vitriol that they're getting. Okay, they wouldn't get the frustration that they're getting. They would actually get, I'm not saying that, like, I need to shame anybody. I'm just like saying rational discourse amongst, people assessing and trying to interpret their reality. I just like, if open dialogue actually existed, we wouldn't be where the fuck we are.
Right.
But we're here because I think black men have been silenced, they've been stigmatized, they've been stereotyped, they've been pigeonholed into categories established by people who are colonial, slave-owning, lynching, segregationists, bro. And now they're presenting themselves as saviors. And, and the look of it is benevolent and beneficent white gay women and shit. Like, I'm like, what makes that all of a sudden somehow pure and progressive? I don't see it. I'm just being honest about it.
Let me say this though. But part of the issue that we're dealing with now, and I kind of mentioned it before, is that the intersection, the LGBTQ intersection, has now solidified this kind of alliance. So now there's basically nothing that we can do, because a lot of what Kim Foster is speaking about, you can see it, that she's delusional from not really understanding white women, or you can understand that now that the LGBTQ has taken on a lot of this racist, feminist ideology. Basically, she's speaking for the LGBTQ when she's saying, why you raise kids without them being a lot of what she's saying, she may not be LGBTQ, but she's speaking in a lot of LGBTQ kind of overtones.
But that's the point I was going to make, which is that they want the tools. So, and there's something that Gigi was saying. I would forward this. I don't think we're dealing with people like her that don't get it. They're just using the tools on the table. So speaking of what you're just saying, Ian, I may not be LGBTQ, but I want to have the ability to pick and choose my mate. He potentially not be responsible, potentially not be a good father, and the community wraps its arms around me and take care of me and my child that I messed up the picking the father. You get what I'm saying? So it is a tool of the LGBTQ, even if she's not, but it's not that she believes that white women have her best interest at heart, is that she's using the tool that comes from white feminism and white concepts of intersectionality to use against black men, if that makes any sense.
So, well, the PhDs in this space and BGS, they already stated it. They have utilized affirmative action, right? So now, who's on the top in terms of affirmative action? Who's initially for us, for black men and the black family, right? Right now, currently, is the LGBT and Indians in terms of Middle Eastern people. That is who's on the top right now. And obviously, look at CEOs, and you can see that's where it is. I can't even say that's where it's going. That's where it is. So these black women aren't understanding that they are literally have been pushed further down while trying to market that they should be the ones in power of the black community and this, that, and the third. Everything should go through them, not realizing that they've just been bypassed once again. It's to me.
But the issue, like, and this is what I look, and here's the issue, like for somebody like Chukwe Igwe, we need higher standards, we need boundaries and all of this kind of stuff. But here's the deal: black people are groomed and indoctrinated in an environment that really just doesn't look out. Like Americans don't look out for each other for real.
True.
I mean, look.
All about money.
If you look at so the numbers that I wanted to show y'all earlier. Let me go share the screen. Like, America's not looking out for its own, man. Like this is the spread. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. Can you see it a little bit better now? Is it wider? Just a little bit. Yeah. So this is the tax returns filed for the year 2020 in the following year 2021, okay? And ultimately it gives you a breakdown of how many people are making above a certain amount of income, right? So only 0.001% are making and that's only like about 1,500 people are making like big bucks, like 77 million, okay? Now it's interesting to note that only about half of Americans filed taxes at all in 2020, but in 2021 for the year 2020, but that's neither here nor there. 0.01% made 15 million or more. 0.1% made 2 million or more. 1% made 500,000 or more. 2% made 300,000 or more. 3% made 290,000 or more. 4% of the population, 4% made 250,000, a quarter of a million. 5% made roughly the same amount, but 10% to 20. The cutoff really is 20% of the population of this half of the population of the U.S., which is 150 million, made over 100 G's. Okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Now you got to ask yourself, how many black people are included in this amount of persons who make over 100 G's a year? It ain't gonna be 20%. I can guarantee you that shit.
No.
It's not.
Not even 10.
But we demand.
It's 4.
You got 70 to 80% of black women demanding that they find a motherfucker making 100 G's or more. But I'm telling you, even when motherfuckers do make that amount of money, there's still problems and issues. Okay?
True.
Just based upon cultural, mores and practices.
Abnormality. Yeah, man. Yeah.
So
my bad.
No, but I'm just saying, look, most of the people, over half of the people who file taxes make 42 G's. Women are looking at guys who making this amount of money and saying, fuck that dude. He ain't got enough bread for me. He ain't got the bag. This is, I'm like, this is crazy to me.
And G, I'm a firm believer that there is in fact a malevolent mastermind that's in play here that's really playing on the desires and the delusions of people in general. And every time I see situations when it comes to black women trying to take the lead and all this, I'm like, it's like you mentioned something earlier about how elders can like pull you to the side and really talk to you on a respectful, kind of, I'm your elder, I've seen what you're about to see, let me talk to you type stuff. I'm big on it if we can redress like our overall ethos that we're pulling from, and really have reestablish like an elders council for every community, for every black community, like really call out elders like, hey, y'all got a job to do. You know what I mean? We're slipping into a darkness right now. I don't know how else we can kind of not even stop it, because like our brother said, it's basically over when it comes to the trajectory that we on. But if there's anything that can stop it, I think it's the elders. Go ahead.
I did this video in order to demonstrate a simple point. That even Chat GPT after prompts could understand the reasons for which a lot of black men would be saying, fuck the community. Now, you ask the question, why are black men saying fuck the community? Well, they're saying it because they don't have any decision-making power within it. Because they don't have any decision-making power within the context of family life.
Yep.
Now, this is a Western problem in general, but it's also connected to the value system that we've developed over the past 60 to 70 years. Now, I don't know if this has been, catalyzed by, government policy by itself. But I think it helped. Welfare policy, quartering and living arrangement policy associated with receiving aid and things of this nature. I think it played a role. I'm not going to say it was the only thing, that it created the conditions, but it was part of it. The historical legacy of slavery, I think, played a role in it. Anti-black misandry played a role in it. I think deindustrialization played a role in it. I think mass incarceration and the war on drugs played a role in it. It's a whole host of things that played a role in getting to where we are now. But
I'm a malevolent mastermind.
But like my whole thing is, you got black men who are basically saying, look, we don't like how you're handling us. We're not able to be vital and constitutive parts of family life. We're kind of pushed to the periphery. So we're saying, fuck that. We're giving you reasons for which we don't want to deal with this shit anymore. If it means fuck the community, fuck it. If it means that you're going to be the only people at the helm of it, let it go to the fucking ground and burn and crash. If that's what it's going to come to. Okay? But no group of people are going to, unless they've been educated and reared to do so. And really in America, nobody's reared to just sit back and to take shit and to not understand that they have autonomy. Everybody's taught that freedom is of paramount importance. So men seeing that they don't have any power in family life and understanding that there's no organization at all to community life in black neighborhoods. There's just none. It's fucking total chaos. The kids run the streets. Okay?
So
they govern what is the mood and the temperature of the fucking environment, especially in inner city neighborhoods. I can't speak to what's going on in suburbia. Maybe they're policed a little better and, black people have some more civic mindedness or whatever in those areas. But in the hood, bro, at the end of the day, kids are running the fucking neighborhoods, man. Through terroristic means. It's not like they're governing with any insight and, with any objective to the collective good in mind. They're just running criminal organizations and shit. Trying to live out American dreams related to the shit they saw on TV, bro.
Right.
Or what they heard on a rap music song. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm getting money, this is how I'm getting it. I'm riding around, I'm getting it. That's the ops. Fuck it, what we do to ops, we kill them.
Right.
You know what I mean? But human beings will find a reason to kill each other anyway, is what we do. We do that best. But at the end of the day, man, if we can't be a part of the community in terms of making decisions, I've seen it in personal situations, in my own experience. Okay, that's how you feel. Like, okay, what I've told you really has no import. Fuck it then. Y'all go do what y'all want to do. I'll holler at y'all when y'all get back.
Yeah.
Like, why should I? Like, you saying that we going here regardless as to what you say. You're not gonna even entertain or modify what y'all planning around what my sentiments are and why I don't feel comfortable doing X, Y, Z. You just gonna do it anyway? Fuck it then. You made the choice without me anyway. Why should I participate in it?
I call that common sense. That's what I call
exactly.
that common sense.
Yeah, I was about
I
to
have
say,
no incentive.
yeah, listen, and going back to what Kim Foster said again, and I'm gonna use like a sports analogy. It's like them talking about how they can raise like you said, this like what this is you call political listing. It's like gynocentric commune. They want the so-called black community to be like a gynocentric commune, but the problem is that saying that is like trying to tell somebody that you don't need an offensive or defensive line to build a great football team and turn around and bitching and whining about why the quarterback's getting sacked like 20 times a game and your running back's only getting like zero point 0.7 yards a carry. It's like, because you keep
poorly built.
that they don't matter. You dumbass.
Well,
Right.
I can tell you this. Okay, so if they're saying that they can better handle the resources, okay, well I can say, okay, currently right now, today, amongst women who are self-employed or quote unquote business owners, high 80% of them don't have any fucking employees. And you know what their quote unquote company or business revenue is?
It's more like 94%.
Thank you. And it's not even black women. And their revenue is not even $40,000. So again, every time they talk, I have the factual numbers today to say you're way off base. So you aren't even doing it right now with all the resources, all the affirmative action. I mean, all your quote unquote education. You aren't even doing
They're
it
not even
now.
taking 25 grand.
So how are you going to do it tomorrow? You're not showing me right now. And they never have an answer.
So anyway, speaking to this lesbian commune shit, I don't know if you ever heard of Audre Lorde, but she's a black feminist, pretty influential. And she grew up in Harlem, but, she had black West Indian parents, right? And she, kind of, puts a lot of romanticism around this, concept called Zami, which is ultimately like a Karaku name, like a Caribbean name for women who work together as friends and lovers and shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's the island, Karaku is the Caribbean island where mother basically was, immigrated from. And she's basically saying that, like, I owe my power and my strength to, this lesbian lover, friend, and lover group and shit. That's what.
In
my
Creole,
strength.
Zami means friend, Gigi.
But to her, it's like friends and lovers. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't just friends. Like we cool. Like it's like that lover, homie lover friend type shit.
Right.
It's like friends with benefits. Okay. It ain't just friends like we cool. It's like we cool in a way that's cooler than cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna stroke you up. Like I'm gonna go ahead and lick on that, make you feel real good.
But this speaks to my point about political lesbianism, doesn't it?
This is right. This is political lesbianism. It is the romanticization of the idea that women together, they have something that's beautiful apart from men. It makes me, the romanticization of lesbian relationships in the black community, to me, is another way of illustrating the non-essentiality of men.
GG.
Exactly.
Can I add something to that real quick? So, like, BGS, Johnson, all y'all know, I have an attorney auntie, and I have a master's degree social worker, another aunt on both sides of the family, my dad's side and this side. They deal with, battered women and all that type shit. So I've had this conversation with them, and basically, they say, yeah, one auntie admits, yeah, I slept with women. The other one says, I don't mind laying down with women when there's a lack of comfort. But then you have lesbian women that, they take advantage of that, like me taking advantage of, pretty much a lady. So what they say basically, yeah, guys give you the physical sexual need, but they lack in the, what is that word? The natural comfort,
Emotional.
the emotional labor part of it. And basically, it's like,
Yawn.
Yeah, because we aren't women.
well, I
Why
think it's
won't you
even
just
above.
act like the XX chromosome?
No, it's above that. So you give a person just physical, physical sex or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you lack in every other fact. You're not gonna kiss her unless you have to. You know what I'm saying? To get the ass is basically what they're saying. So they say when you have these herds of women, it's being bisexual for women in the black community is socially acceptable. Like guys aren't saying there's an outrage for that shit. It's socially acceptable. We all agree with it. We want the idea of watching two women or whatever. So how they see it is, I have no male comfort, no nothing to understand me. I have this lady. I sleep in her bed sometimes, and she starts playing with my tits, and it goes from there. And no,
Hey,
You
bro,
know,
look, look,
but this speaks to something that Gigi was saying earlier, which is the DV part. Like, okay, if women are so much more loving than men are, right? They're so much more comforting. They have emotional intelligence. They do the emotional labor. Then where does the extremely high DV rate come from? Especially the part that they have a higher DV rate in same-sex loving relationships than in hetero relationships. Like, if y'all are so much more loving and giving, and y'all have the emotional intelligence, and y'all do the
Mm.
emotional work, where is the data to back that up?
That's
But
a
you gotta understand,
two part answer where
bro.
men subconsciously know they can't really strike a woman, and women know they can really catfight each other all the time. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's kind of like a double, like a double dutch right there. My bad,
Well,
bro. Right?
not only that, but you got to realize is that like you said with the political, like when Mr. Egan said with political lesbianism, that's because a large portion of women that are quote unquote lesbian are they're not that way because they love women. They're like that because they hate men, and
Mm.
they see
yeah.
being lesbian as a way of this quote unquote curing their hatred of men, only to realize like no, it's not hatred of men, it's that you hate yourself, and you project
Yeah.
Mm.
that onto the men, and they learn
And
that
when
the hard way when they're dealing with each other.
And you have to understand when it become, I think Mr. Z knows. We done some work on the, left side. When it comes to lesbian women,
Hmm.
you're talking about women that I put it like this: we're not going to go behind another man, but these women are literally suck the sperm out of a woman's vagina to sexually please her. So they're constantly trying to prove themselves sexually, like poor black man with nowhere to go, so he has to sleep with a woman that he doesn't like to have a place to sleep. That's literally how they move. They're trying to show sexually that they're superior by, those arguments of orgasms or, emotional intelligence and emotional comfort. So they play both sides of the field, and women, since it's socially
man, dude, man,
acceptable in
you
our
got dudes,
community.
man, that
I'm just
bragging
saying.
about eating pussy nowadays. So I mean, I'm not trying to hear all this
No,
shit.
I
Like,
don't mean
no, I'm just saying, like, if you like,
G,
if
I don't mean
even
like that. I
like,
mean
bro, look, now you got niggas in the rap game, like the Pookie's
eating the
talking about,
butt.
I eat the booty like groceries and shit. So, like, I want you to
But
think
G,
about this
it
though.
sets
Like,
a
no, I just
standard though,
I
seriously,
bro.
blame Diddy for this.
I
It
just want
sets
you
a
to think
standard.
about this, man. There's nothing that, no disrespect, there's nothing that a woman can do to another woman that a man can't do to her with a
Right.
natural
Exactly.
piece of equipment. Because the only
Right.
thing she can do is rub uglies, like clothes burning. Like I can flick somebody, I can flick a woman's clitoris till she gets
I
off.
agree.
Green Gorilla low key
I'm
is
just
funny.
saying.
I'm not
It's
even
funny
trying to.
though.
I'm not even trying to like be. I'm just
I
being
know, I
factual.
know,
Like
I
I'm
know,
being
I know.
dispassionate as hell when I say this. Like
I know.
I could rub a woman's clitoris for 5 to 10 minutes and get her off, bro. Like, I mean, without
Exactly.
Mm.
even inserting my penis into her if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not all of these arguments, men never satisfy us. I don't understand. I think it's a bunch of cap.
It's
G,
bullshit.
G, G.
All
Let's just be
cap.
real.
All cap.
If you just want to hit a girl,
I
if
believe
you
it's a
just want
bunch
to
of
hit a girl
bullshit.
and you don't have to do it, you don't have to do it. But girls you like, you do it. See, that's the issue. Lesbian women just do it.
Yeah. Well, no, I think what we're dealing with is fundamentally we're in the era of one-upsmanship with women on how you chastise men, insult men, belittle men, question their masculinity, question their sexuality. What we're dealing with is a scorched earth policy for working class men in particular. That doesn't mean they won't take down an elite man, but it's harder to get to them, and they're more likely to kick you out than you are to kick them out. But
Yeah.
what you're finding is that they're one upping each other. It's a game of chess. They're one upping each other to see who can, on the intellectual side, who can intellectualize their misandry more and better, and on the more hood, everyday side, the colloquial side, it's who can belittle and insult men more, right? And you see that in every aspect of our society, particularly in the black community. You see it in hip hop. You see it in just pop culture in general. You see it on reality TV shows, whatever those fake ass scripted reality TV shows. You see it across the board, and that does trickle down from the top down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what we're dealing with when you see some of that LGBTQ talk going on. Really, it is just them one upping each other on how much they don't need men. Meanwhile, they're crying themselves to sleep at night. But
Yeah, it's like
I'll pause right there. Go ahead, Kev.
All right, so
yeah,
hold on.
yeah, yeah.
Before we start, I'm gonna go. We're gonna go around the horn or around the hoop. That's what my old coach used to say. Around the hoop. We're gonna go one last ride around this block. Start with the equalizer, going all the way around clockwise till we get back to me, and then we're gonna close this out because we 3 hours in. So Salchi, man, equalizer. Kick the Willie Bobo to us one time.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the space as usual. Last thing, I'm a numbers guy. So, the numbers I gave out, that was only 119, a little bit over 119 million working people in a population of over 331 million people.
Yep.
So I just want people to understand, okay, so when women start talking about men's income, you have to really look at the macro and say, wait a minute. Only this many people are working or have income, and only this smaller percentage of people or men make X amount of dollars. And then on average, those men are really going on 60. So what the fuck are we talking about? So it's really all bullshit, is what I'm saying. It really is.
Right. So thank you, man. Appreciate your contribution, bro. Holler at y'all. I mean, I'm gonna be on tomorrow. Me and Sandog getting down tomorrow. So
okay.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Holler at you on the next one, man. Martin, holler at us,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Keep the Billy Bobo, man. Take us home.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm straight up and down, man. It feels like the more we kind of look at this and the more we kind of see what's actually going on, we can say to ourselves, man, instead of trying to entrust in, what I would call a open enemy or arch deceiver, man, we're literally dealing with a mastermind, kind of group of people that play other groups of people one against another. And it's been happening since, like you mentioned, indoctrination, Jim Crow. We've been dealing with this for centuries now. And the more we don't, redress it ourselves, and the more we don't atone it for ourselves, the more we don't reconstruct the ethos, like I said, for ourselves, the more this malevolent mastermind is going to keep doing what he's been doing since the dawn of his existence. And I think it just has to boil down to, not saying we gotta slap our woman or whatever, but we gotta let them know, nah, enough is enough. We tired of y'all, trying to take charge of this, and enough is enough. We gotta do this ourselves. And I think it boils down to us really building a real, men's only community environment where it's the same way we can say, nigga in Florida, nigga in California, and nigga in New York, and you know exactly what you mean by that. I think that's the same way we have to try to convey the message of how we need to reestablish ourselves as the Stark leaders. We got to be the cardinal point moving forward, man. And hopefully these women can snap out of the delusion, man, because that's really what's going on right now. But I appreciate the show, man.
All right, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate you being here, man.
Thank you. Peace.
All right. Big Kev, man. Talk to us, man. Kick the Willie Bobo for a second, man.
Yeah, man. Again, man. Great conversation, great insight. Listen, again, it's just one of those things where, there's a reason why you don't see, even though even though if push comes to shove, in like a shit hits the fan scenario, technically speaking, men are more likely to be able to survive on their own, like a group of men than a group of women. We don't run around talking about how we don't need no women or how society would be better if it was just a giant sausage fest because it's fucking stupid. You know, like, people know it's stupid, but for some reason, I guess because they're the opposite gender, they think, oh, if they say something similar, that it's not equally as stupid. This is a situation of going back to the morally superior argument. You know, when you're constantly acting like your shit doesn't stink, instead of your shit not stinking, instead you just walk around with mud butt. You know, metaphorical mud butt. You know what I mean?
Hysterical.
Exactly. Like right. That's pretty much what it is. All this nonsense about female supremacy and how they're going to create this great gynocentric commune. It's going to be wonderful and magical. Again, it's just metaphorical mud butt. It's just talking, acting like your shit don't stink, but you got skid marks in your drawers. You know, whereas somebody who is really
Hysterical.
wise would just tell you, hey, listen, wipe your ass, wash your ass, and then wash your hands every time you take a shit. And be sure to drink water and eat fiber. So, I mean, hey,
And
again, Big
look,
Gorilla, thanks for having me up, man.
for sure, man. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate that. And before I, even get to Mr. Z, man, I want to shout out Sam, Calvin, Red Falls Black, and Kaylon, man. Word up to y'all, man. I appreciate you. Got much respect and much much love for y'all, man. Real talk. And sometimes I get out of hand. I don't know if I, got mad at one of y'all tonight, but much love, man. Anyway, Leon, Mr. Z. I think Mr. Z was first, but Leon, you go ahead and
No,
give
no,
me.
Leon is. Go ahead. Leon could go first.
Go ahead,
I
Leon.
think I think as long as you have black women and black guys growing up in a particular different class outside of the black community excels in education and still can't find relationships through whatever the situation is with the black community or their looks, this is going to continue. And in every other
Facts.
facet, white people and white feminists that do nonprofit and organization work will incentivize these people to continue to say the things that they say, regardless. So I think the only thing can defeat it is, white women don't got money. That's the only way reality really kicks in. And until then, this shit's gonna continue, because her argument is not only with black men and their selection with mates, but it's with women too. So
All right, brother. Well, hey, man, thank you for your contribution, man. I hope to see you soon in the future, man. I'll be on tomorrow. So peace out,
already.
my brother. Mr. Z, man, kick the Willie Bobo. Take us home, man.
Thank you for having me, Gigi. And shout out to the brother Leon and Big Kevin, everybody, Ian, and everyone that was Salchi, and thank you to Salchi for bringing in the numbers. Right, we needed that. Rogish that was up here, we needed the numbers, and he's correct. There's actually a article I was reading about 24,000 is what the average like entrepreneur is like that little side gig entrepreneurial thing is bringing in. I don't know how true that is, but that's what the article said. You know, we spoke about community today, and I want to back up Leon by saying it's going to be harder and harder, and back you up, Green Gorilla, by saying it's going to be harder and harder to maintain that communal mindset when you have what some civil rights leaders fought for, right? Which is to be seen as individuals. And you have some of our aunts and uncles that moved to the burbs and they took our cousins with them. And now our cousins have a fundamentally different upbringing than we have, right? In the more middle class, lower middle class, poor, working class black community. And you see that with some of the gender conflict. You see that with some of the way of speaking about LGBTQ. These people are LGBTQ activists because that's their struggle. Their struggle isn't black per se, the way black people who are further down on the socioeconomic totem pole, the way we think about black and the way they think about black is different, right? So when you see the Kim Fosters, understand that she has a fundamentally different upbringing than the vast majority of us. She was raised with another sister. She was raised upper middle class. She attended Harvard. That is just even for people like Gigi who have a doctorate. His upbringing as a middle-aged black man is fundamentally different than Kim Foster, who was raised in this type of environment, right? In this type of upbringing. And so when she says black, as a black woman who didn't have any brothers, right, she doesn't mean the same thing as those of us as black men. And she is waging class warfare against black working class men, even if she doesn't realize it, right? She is making a particular argument. That's why she has contempt for blue collar black men, because we're too crass. We don't use the same particular languages as she does, right? And the class argument that they make does go against community while they're trying to gaslight people about community, because they want to be able to make mistakes and not be judged for it. They want to be able to run into the wall of pretending to be white and not be judged for it. They want to make mistakes sexually and not be judged for it, right? That's what they mean by community. And that's what she particularly means by community. It's us being the cleanup men for people like her, right? It's her being rude and an a-hole, and we turn the other cheek. She wants to speak community. She doesn't know the first thing about community just because she's doing, not really, for black women, right? And I'll pause right there. Thank you for having me up, Green Gorilla. I look at these particular petite bourgeoisie black women as a scourge on the black community. I think we give them way too many passes because we assume that black women like Kim Foster are morally superior to everyone else. And then you include her Ivy League education, and she's damn near a god in the black community. And I just will not have any of it. And I'll pause right there. Thank you for having me up, Gigi.
Hey, man, thank you, man. Appreciate that, man. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, man. Thank you for all of you all joining me here, man. I appreciate that, man. Real talk. You know? So look, we about to bring everything to a close. We got one guy here, man, talking some shit about hell Satan, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, if you like Satan so much, man, slit your throat, man. Go ahead and kick it with that motherfucker for the rest of the time. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Go fuck with your boy then. Go ahead and, you know, slit your motherfucking throat. So every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every, you know, month, every motherfucking quarter of every annual cycle and decade and century and millennia and epoch through eternity, you can fuck with that motherfucker, man. Go and do you. Go and do what you do best, man. You know what I'm saying? Do you, boy. Anyway, so look, man, I just want to say this, man, before I close, man. All I wanted to do was just say that no group of people are going to want to support and to be a part of and to take hits for and to put in and to give to a community that's willing to give nothing back. It's non-reciprocitous. It doesn't share into the spirit of communality and mutual interdependence. It's just a bunch of like lording over others and, you know, dictating service without providing any. You know, like it's like demanding that you be able to go to the bank and to withdraw, but you never put anything in. And if you want black men to be of a certain caliber and to be able to do things, you know, that enhance the community, you have to allow for them to participate. You can't just keep using, you know, arguments about how abusive and how violent and how regressive they are, and then expect for, you know, you to get fidelity and loyalty in some form of, you know, enshrinement. This is not going to happen, man. So anyway, having said all that, man, also, man, if you don't like my content, man, stay the fuck off my channel, man. Kick rocks, man. Get the fuck out of here. Because here, I'm going to tell you what's real, man. I'm not daddy. I'm grown. That's what's happening over here, man. I'm the motherfucking daddy of my channel, man. You might be the daddy of yours. Go talk what you talk about on your channels, or go frequent or go visit the motherfuckers that like to talk about the shit y'all like to talk about. Better yet, stop talking, man. Pick up some bricks and some motherfucking hammers and some chisels and whatever the fuck else y'all doing over there, man, so y'all can build the goddamn community y'all want so fucking badly, man. One brick at a goddamn time, man. Y'all do that shit, man. Stop fucking with us. Let us talk and do what the fuck we doing, and you do what the fuck y'all doing. Go build homes and shit. Leave me the fuck out of that. Peace. Holla at y'all on the next one.